What is up, chat? Get those hypes together. Get those cheers going. We got a super cool game on stream for you today. This is round 1 of the Speedhammer tournament. This is... Thanks, chat. Get those soundboards going, everybody. This is going to be a sick game. Speedhammer, for those who don't know, is an external but T5S2 ranked event. It is a essentially standard online 40k tournament. It's probably, I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's going to be a total of 5 rounds using standard GT 2020 rules with a caveat. Check out this chess clock time, chat. 60 minutes per player. We are going to be going back and forth. Deployment is on the clock. You have to play 40k as fast as possible to get out of each of these games. And I think for us, for the viewers, this means it's going to be a sick game. There's not going to be any dilly-dallying, waiting around, deciding what you're going to do. No ums and ahs today. You're in, you're making game actions, you're taking moves, and that's it. How's it going? Yeah, more yas in chat. Pixie Posse's other Necrons code for Wraithguard? It is not. It is a Necron mirror match. This round 1 for Speedhammer. So the event is being organized by Ash C, a member of the Tactical Tortoise community, also a Season 2 Invitational player. Season 1 and 2 Invitational player, in fact. And she's been doing the Emperor's work on organizing this event, and she said that it was cool if we streamed whichever games we wanted. This round 1 has a bunch of mirror matches just randomly, and I picked out some of the most interesting ones. We have over here in the red, repping the Silent King himself, Butt Edge, excuse me. I don't know if there's a backstory behind that name, but I'm sure there is. This is Kellen, who you will remember, you might recognize from the Tactical Tortoise community. He plays a billion games over there, over on the Discord. And on the blue side, also repping Necrons, a little bit of a change from his normal playstyle. This is Sqauwky, Season 2 Invitational player. Got himself to the semifinals with some incredible White Scars play. Has left the White Scars at home today, though. He's bringing the Robo Boys. And I thought this one was going to be interesting. Both of these players, some of my favorite people to watch and play against. And an interesting Necron mirror match. Looks like a lot of people are interested in watching Necrons play on the table, so we're gonna get some games in of it going. Corvin Speedhammer, love the idea. Terrified of actually playing it. It's not as bad as you would expect, chat. Interestingly enough, it's actually fine. You basically just have to, go with whatever your first the first thought in your head is. You don't get like a 5-minute, buffer every turn to think about your entire turn and how it's going to play. You just got to be making moves and taking actions and rolling attacks. And it actually, I think, is probably a little bit more realistic of a test of skill, at least in terms of a test of planning on the fly than a standard game of Warhammer 40k, because you don't have the time to plan a perfect turn, so you have to take the best turn that you can think of off the top of your head and just go from there, which I think is actually super fun. Look at all these yas. Thanks, chat. Thanks, everybody, for the yas. It looked like we had a subscription over in here. Otter Pups. Thanks for the subscription, or just before we went live. I was also live earlier today, literally just coming off of a game in my first round in Speedhammer. I streamed over on the YouTube. So far, I've been streaming all my own personal games of 40k over on the YouTube channel, and we're doing the more official commentated stuff here on Twitch. That may change in the future, that paradigm, but if we're looking for more sort of audience interaction, I think Twitch is better for that. So we're going to be streaming those up over here for the time being. Got a hype in chat from Faded Sea. I want to thank everybody for making the jump over and hanging out with me as we watch this game. I think it's going to be sweet. Let's talk about the lists real quick. Exclamation point lists in the chat if you want to take a look at them. We'll talk about... I'm just going to call him Butt. We're going to talk about Butt's list over here. This is Kellen's Necrons. Bringing the Silent King as his first detachment in a Supreme Command detachment. Not too much surprising there. Then following up with a battalion detachment coming out of Novak. That's bringing a Chronomancer, as well as a Plasma Sight, a Catacomb Command Barge, a second Chronomancer, as well as a Sqauwky Lord, and Kellen actually building into... What is this Chronomancer model? I guess it's just a really hokey scan. This looks like a scan of somebody's personal Chronomancer that they painted. I don't think that's quite true, though. I think it may be just a dark one from GW. But really building into trying to score Code of Combat. A lot of melee-style noble models in here that you can start destroying units with to get that Code of Combat triggered. So we also have 2 units of Immortals, 5 Immortals each, with Gauss Blasters, 1 unit of 20 Necron Warriors. I think probably going to veil those guys around the table, as well as 2 units of Sqauwky Destroyers with their Reap Blades and Threshers. 1 big unit of Tomb Blades, all with Twin Tesla Carbines. We saw that combo being used by Rex Moyer on the Invitational, the Season 2 Invitational. Was able to do an immense amount of damage with those guys with full rerolls from Sarek. They do boatloads of DACA. Moving over to Sqauwky's list. Also, Necrons. This one, I think, a little bit more standard. A Beast/Swarm build. With 2 Catan following up to deal mortal wounds to people. And Sqauwky was telling me before the game, he's had some really cool games. He's playing in the Greek Hammer WTC tournament right now as well with this list. And he's had some really explosive turns with the mortal wounds out of these guys. This one's bringing Healthy Paranoia as well as Eternal Conquerors. I apologize, chat. I'm going to have to look up what that one does. I love seeing all these cool and unique dynastic traits come out because it's not all just relentlessly expansionist. Thank goodness. Healthy Paranoia gives an additional 3-inch range to your ranged weapons. All right. Besides pistols. That's cool. This is bringing a Psychomancer with an Add a Vindicator, a unit of 10 Immortals with Tesla Carbines, a little bit more meaty on that Immortal unit. A lot of people eschewing the Immortals for big warrior units right now, but if you are expected to Veil of Darkness them around the table, which it looks like his Psychomancer is equipped with, 10 Immortals is fine. They're a little bit cheaper than the warriors, and they do okay damage. They're not intense damage, but they're all right. We have 10 Death Marks as well. Love the Death Marks coming in out of Deep Strike, I imagine. Yeah, looks like they're hidden over here alongside some flayed ones. That's going to give some easy access to engage on all fronts, as well as the ability to counter, to intercept enemy Deep Strikers coming in. So you can complete your engage on all fronts easily, and you can stop your opponent from completing theirs by killing their own reserve units. The prevalence of strategic reserve units right now is really impactful in the meta, and so having the abilities to deal with them, which Necrons do in droves, is very powerful. You know, things like Hexmark Destroyers are really good for that, alongside the Gauntlet of the Conflagrator, and these Death Marks are as well. We also have an Outrider detachment coming out of... This one is a relentlessly expansionist dynasty. That's bringing a Chronomancer, 5 flayed ones, and 1, 2, 3 units of 5 Canoptek Swarms, 1, 2, 3 units of Canoptek Wraiths, 2 of 5, and 1 of 3. There are a grand total as well of 3 Locust Destroyers in this list. And looks like Sqauwky has marked in their tooltip which dynasty they're in. But the Locust Destroyers, 55 points is a bit pricey for a single model unit, and that only has 3 wounds, but their weapon is very impressive, especially if you can get any sort of reliability on it. Oh, these just have standard Gauss cannons. All right, I guess it's not quite. It's not the heavy Gauss cannon or the big destroyer gun, but it's okay. For individual model units that have a decent gun on them, probably fine. But how's it going, chat? Who are people rooting for this game? Are we rooting for the Catan Necrons or the Silent King Necrons? The Silent King's got a Catan stuck in his chair there, and the other Catan said, whoa, 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 buddy. That is not woke, sir. This is 2021. We can't be doing that. No enslaving ancient star gods for your own personal gain. We're going to come and bring all of our Canoptek buddies and stop you. We forged a narrative, chat.
Do it. Fateful roll.
Arrow to 5.
Oh.
Roll to go first. Looks like a tie on a 5.
I rolled a 6.
And Sqauwky wins it going first. But I think most these players typically probably want to go second in this particular matchup. Although going first is pretty good in priority targets. It gives you a solid control over the mid board, especially if you have taken domination, with which Kellen has, which Butt has. He's butted in there with that domination pick. That gives him the ability to score that domination pretty reliably on turn 1. Or, I mean, it's super reliably. You just get it automatically, essentially. Although his army is relatively slow, so it might not be automatic.
To move 4 first before it inevitably ended up somewhere where I couldn't score it.
Using a pre-game move to just bounce a Locust Destroyer over onto Kellen's side of the table to grab that engage on all fronts. Easy peasy. Also, not a lot of high damage output shooting, just some Gauss Flares and the Catacomb Command Barge over here. I love that the Catacomb Command Barge, like, highlights the Lord on the top there. I think it actually, the base model, I think, actually does not have the Lord on it, so you have to build one yourself. You have to attach one in, which is funny. Pixie Boss says, suffer not the alien to live. So we're rooting against both of them? Is that what I'm hearing, Pixie? Of course.
Xeno spotted.
All right, chat. We got a prediction in chat here, everybody. Drop your channel points in there. Who's going to win this game? Pauli, can you bet channel points on Necrons winning? Yes. Sure. Absolutely.
Okay, that is...
We got to let them fight straight out of Godzilla.
So getting a
I think Kellen's Necrons are the Godzilla in this case. We got the Silent King in there. He's got his atomic breath weapon going off. All right. I'm going to send it back to the players' mics real quick here so we can hear what's going on.
I want a Chronometron token. Because I've got one.
I would love a Chronometron token. I am the worst when it comes to not having.
There you go.
Looks like Sqauwky forgetting his Chronometron
and
target.
bizarrely, my priority objective is actually going to be 4.
Yeah, I was actually thinking your mine was going to be 2.
You can't bet in your region. It's not real money,
seeing
chat.
as the other player just
You just
moved
bet
it closer
points.
to each other.
You can't
it's
even
like, well.
get points for money.
Okay, so some movement.
Mind if I place a little green die just in case
Yeah, that's
you
not.
forget or someone gets confused?
Weird, Pauli. That's strange. I've never heard of that. I'm sorry, though.
Okay.
Silent King probably doesn't have breath. No, but this Catan guy in the back of his chair sure does, though. He's screaming. How would he be screaming if he couldn't breathe? So we are sending the Scarabs in. Going to be running over to Objective 2, although they will get absolutely chopped right up by the Sqauwky Destroyers once they get stuck in. Hopefully, if they can contest it for a turn, that will be fine. Talking about the secondary objectives quickly here for these players. Sqauwky taking engage on all fronts, like we mentioned. Priority targets. Last one, Ancient's Stir. It's an action he can perform on objectives that are outside the player's deployment zones, and you get points every time you complete it. Complete it at the end, at the start of your round, and you can do it with any core unit or Canoptech unit, which means his Scarabs and his Canoptech Wraiths can attempt it, and he could just farm points with that every turn. 1.2k for the butt. Go butt.
Okay. I'll advance.
Tyranids can be giant lizard things, and I guess Space Marines are giant monkeys. Godzilla versus King Kong. Yeah, that's when you fight Swarmlord versus Reboot Gilliman, right? Can we get a big Jakaro in the game sometime? That'd be cool.
I'll advance Satan number 2.
Swarmlord versus Dante is
Actually,
canon.
no, he
Isn't
was-
Dante's weapon only like 2 damage, though? That guy would get dumpstered by Swarmlord. Dante is, like, sort of unacceptably terrible at fighting, in fairness. I played against a bunch of Jokera the other day, chat, a couple of weeks ago in a pod game. They were okay. They're not expensive. They have the character keyword. And they shoot like a las cannon sometimes. I was pretty impressed with the Jokera, to be honest. The downside is that their ballistic skill is awful. That's the downside of Jokera. But you don't expect much out of an orangutan. Well, it looks like about split on the predictions here. Whoa.
I'll advance Scarabs on the left. 2.
Everyone's right in that Necrons are gonna win, chat. Is that what we're saying?
I'll advance one of the droids at the back. 5.
Looks like you have a bit of a
Oh,
coherence
that's fine.
Yeah,
issue.
okay, there we go. Yes. It's like 3 inches away. All right, all good. I don't think that matters too much, but we gotta keep these players playing correctly. Otter of Games, I'm trying to tech an Inquisitor in my sister's list for mental interrogation smite and denies. Has not been, but otherwise has not been using much from Inquisition. Also, he lets me use my Gideon model. Yeah, Inquisitors are good in sisters. Having psychic power, the ability
that's 5 and that's
to,
5. I'm trying
to
to
do
figure out
psychic
where
stuff
the-
in sisters is good.
They're just 1 unit. This is 1 unit.
Oh, they're 1 unit of 10. Okay,
And having
my bad.
having actual psychic denies, not like the weird 6-up thing that sisters have, or the 1d6 thing that sisters have, or just their 4-up is nice to have. I'm a big proponent of like trying to fit a deny into your lists whenever you can, because it just stops, like, as somebody who plays a lot of psychic spells, anytime I can play against an opponent who has no psychic defense whatsoever, it just makes all my combos look so much better. Everything feels safer. I don't have to sequence my psychic phase in any particular way. I just get to do whatever I want. It's like a nice safety blanket. So having a regular Inquisitor in your sister's list makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Pixie Paws bet on a Necron player losing.
In the movement phase, the blue unit of Wraiths will start doing
Pocket
ancient
Terrify, also
machinery.
excellent for the getting those Repentia in.
Sure.
Looks like we are going to be doing our action on Objective 4 to start farming those
scrap
points. Very nice.
Token.
And I
That's-
believe that Ancient Stir can be completed on the same
Um,
objective multiple
and
times,
then
so they can just sit
Scan-powered,
in the back there and farm points as much as
and
possible.
Number 1 can't do anything, but he'll swap. Spend the CP to swap Cosmic Fire 4.
Wouldn't you have to do that at the start of your command phase?
Oh, good question. Could have checked that.
I'll let you do it, but I'm pretty sure it's at the start of your command phase.
That's fine. If it is. It is your command phase. So if you'd let me do it, then I'd be very appreciative. I will bear
You
that
could
in
have just
mind
done
next
it
time.
in the phase. Yeah, totally. Go ahead.
I just want to swap. Let's swap Cosmic Fire for. I got hit. We'll swap it for Transdimensional.
Okay.
And then the other Satan was in range of 1 unit.
So we are spooling up
Got
the
it.
mortal wounds out of the Catan here.
Yes.
Love
He's
this
just in
pivot
range of
into
full
double
dex,
Catan
so
for
great.
Necrons right now. Sometimes
That.
even triple, but mortal wounds are at such a premium in the metagame currently.
I guess the Silent King's within 24, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose.
It is a unit of 3, so.
Nope.
No. So.
Go ahead and lock that
in
objective for the
case,
players.
That will pretty much be my first turn.
Okay.
Yep.
Turn 1 complete. We have the action going on for Sqauwky. We have engage on all fronts scored for 2 points.
Okay.
Priority targets probably will be scored.
We're going to give a Chronometron to a squad of warriors. We're going to give a Chronometron to a squad of...
Interesting thing about the Necron mirror match is that there's no indirect fire for this faction at all, which means that their priority target objective is really safe.
The warriors.
So they will passively generate those points basically automatically. It's almost impossible to stop them from getting them. And also, this center objective being open and free means that we can advance up towards it with this big unit of Necron warriors without fear. I wonder if we're screened out on this corner of the objective. So I have my telestrator today. Survey says I do. If we can fit a warrior here outside of 9 of the Catan and the Scarabs, that means that you can Veil turn 1. Just try to kill the Scarabs with the warrior unit. And you have a really big, obnoxious brick to deal with on that objective. And there's not a lot of units in this Necron army from Sqauwky that deals with that unit effectively. It's mostly an MSU build of Necrons, and so trying to one-shot that big warrior unit is the best way to take it out, and he just doesn't have the punch to do that. Might be able to kill it over the course of a turn, but he will have to redirect the Canoptek rays elsewhere. Catan really punish over lopsiding your list. Black Templar had no range and no psychic, could only hurt them in the fight phase. Catan are so hard to kill. Absolutely. They also really make you look at your, like, sort of weird fringe stratagems you never use. Things like Hammer of Wrath is really good against Catan because it allows you to deal mortal wounds in the charge phase, which could also give you an additional turn of damaging them. Or an additional phase of damaging them, excuse me. There's a lot of sort of fringe stratagems and abilities that you have there that are very important against Catan to get over that 3 wound per phase cap.
Let me get some 9-inch bubbles in your deployment zone. I want to see if I can do anything special with a Veil.
Looks like we might have a spot on Objective 3.
So that area is pretty locked down.
Can we squeeze a guy in there? Oh my god, maybe. I might even be able to do 3-dimensional coherency up to the top of this and chain a unit all the way through. You put one guy there, maybe? Yeah, that'd be so good.
Mortals will spread out. I think we're going to stay there. Oh, and this destroyer healed up 2 wounds, my bad.
Yep.
14-ish, that is 9. I'll advance the middle squad of destroyers just to see where they go.
Okay, Scorpex, big 6? No.
So they could go up to 12 inches.
Trying to get something
Not
onto
really
that center
enough.
objective. Looks like it's not going to be possible this turn without that Veil. So we would have to drop a warrior unit to the center if we wanted to do it, but it makes the coherency really awkward. Silent King and Tomb Blades ramming up this lower flank
Plasma
here.
sight will advance.
We want to stop that
10.
action from triggering on Objective 4 every turn for the rest of the game, so that makes a ton of sense to me. And if we can potentially get Sarek into this Canoptek swarm, we could try to start grabbing points on Code of Combat by killing models with him. Outside of the Catan, there isn't too much in this Necron list that threatens him, so he can kind of play bully. He also doesn't give up any points in this matchup for going down, so really want to throw him as far forward as possible.
I didn't mismeasure here. Do you mind if I move this plasma site back a little bit?
That's fine.
Yeah.
You just want to keep him within I'm not die for being outside.
Yeah, not die, do his thing, you know, do all this fancy crap.
I'm glad I had actually considered taking some in some other Necron lists.
And the plasma site, a little bit of an awkward
Go ahead
data
on
sheet
this
to
based on your
use.
matchup.
If it ever ends outside of 2 inches, I believe, of a destroyer unit, it automatically kills itself. Originally, it was a unit attachment to the Sqauwky destroyers. You could just bring one alongside the unit, 3 inches, excuse me, and it would just act as a member of the squad. But its defensive profile is so different than the squad. It created a lot of interesting and weird interactions. And I think they just elected to make it a little bit easier, make it a solo unit. But that said, it kills itself if it doesn't act as part of the unit, which is a little awkward. Oh, 6 inches to destroy it, and 3 inches to make it untargetable. I'm just reading through its data sheet right now, but it does give the opportunity to buff the strength and attack profile of the Sqauwky destroyers, which is pretty good. Dr. Dudes, does killing a Maneir actually get you Code of Combat points since Maineirs don't have the noble keyword? We would have to take a look.
And then these immortals are just going to consolidate, and we've got a couple more bodies on this point.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter.
I believe that the
Next to no shooting on that.
the keywords, Sarek's keywords, will apply to the unit
So if that movement
because
goes 3 immortals,
he has the noble keyword
4? I think I can get 4.
Yeah.
himself. So it is a noble unit. That said, you have to kill them in melee, right? Which is like probably not going to happen. Oh no, yeah, you could kill them with shooting.
We're all cool there.
Yeah, as long as Sarek's unit kills something, you'll score. Because it's unit, not model.
And then this Chronomancer will just float over here and maybe try to nuke a Scarab or something.
Yep.
Contribute something to the team.
Yeah, it's interesting that they didn't just count the plasma site as like a token, like a cherub or a watcher in the dark. I think that might have just been better for it. It being its own unit is really awkward.
Okay. Just go there. Okay. That will be my movement, so we'll do our shooting.
Yep.
We'll start off with this command barge. She's going to fire his Gauss cannon into that destroyer.
Yep.
All right, see if we can start picking
Twos.
off these
3s.
units with these nobles.
-3.
2 wounds going through from the command barge.
2d6 or 2d3 damage.
Kills the
a 3.
Necron destroyer.
It's
All
3
right.
for Code of Combat.
Boom. Getting those points early. Very nice.
Next up, we'll have this Chronomancer try to nuke a Scarab. I think the only ones he can see are on terrain, so that'll be a 4.
Yep.
He hits. He wounds, minimum 4
Wounds.
damage.
Yep. Got nothing. I'll.
Just for future reference, the dense cover doesn't check which ones are visible. It just checks the whole unit.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
He doesn't.
We'll then have Zarek fire at all those guys,
Yep.
starting with his Menhirs. 2 hits. 2 more dead Scarabs.
Yep.
Staff. All hit. All wound, so that is another 2 and a piece dead Scarabs.
Yep. So that's 4.
Dawn Raider would change Butt's list to
And
less
then we'll
Tomb
have these
Blades
Tomb
with
Blades
the
fire
Nightbringer
into
in
the
it instead.
Wraiths.
I think that's also a very solid
Um,
play. The Tomb Blades have
And,
really
we're
powerful
gonna
synergy with
solar
Sarek.
pulse you.
Yep.
There's not really a whole lot else we can do there, so that is going to be 8 times.
Chat, that is correct. If you could measure to any model in the unit space that doesn't, and you don't pass through the dense cover, then you do not take the penalty. The way that Kellen was playing it was that he if he would only draw the lines from the attacking models to models that were visible to him, but you measure to the entire, you measure to any model in the unit. So because, for just to illustrate here, he had scarabs in the forest down here, and then scarabs that were behind the obscuring here. He was measuring his dense cover lines to these scarabs, but he could be measuring to these ones, which would count the unit as not in dense cover because they're not behind it. It's like really unintuitive interaction, but it is how the rules work. I mean, Nightbringer is always good, chat. We were just talking about how powerful having like multi-phase damage is, and Mortal Wounds is really good. And I mean, Nightbringer is just the best, like one of the best applicators of Mortal Wounds in the entire game. I also lost a game to Kellen recently because his Nightbringer just like tanked a billion damage and didn't die and killed my whole list. So I was like, well, there you go. I like couldn't get through his invulnerable save of the shooting phase. My smites failed in the psychic phase. And I like didn't even fight a Babele after that. I was like, well, good job, buddy.
He's good.
You're fine. That is going to be all of my shooting. So we'll go to charge phase. At the start of the charge phase, this plasma sight is going.
So we are 2 units down on Code of Combat. Good sequencing from Kellen here, killing off those scarabs with Sarek to grab those points.
We'll do it. We'll infuse into the destroyers.
Gonna give
kill
the
one of them.
destroyers +1 and he dies.
Excellent.
Oh no.
And of course, my Reap Blade's in the back right now. So that's.
Oh no, and he has a special weapon at the back of the unit.
7-inch
This is not
charge.
good.
I'm gonna take it on good faith that I make the charge.
All right, we're banking on a big charge here.
And then the other plasma sites chilling. And then we will have these destroyers charge into the scarabs on a 7.
Drum roll, please, everyone. Not a good start.
Rerolling.
CP reroll needs the 7. Gets it on a 7.
Make it.
The unit will not kill themselves thanks to that. Thanks to that Dark Eater, whatever it is. Infused Madness roll. So we got to pull one dude back, so that's a legal move. But there we go. We did it. Yeah, that was a little bit scary there, chat.
The barge is also going to charge those scarabs.
Gonna try see if we can try to grab another couple points
Getting
on
7 as well, which should make it in. So I can come along here and.
I'm gonna poke our hull through terrain there. All right, perfect. Also gonna get around the heavy cover off the wall too, which is kind of nice.
Cool.
Thanks, Windows. You're the best. Do.
And.
All right, good charge rolls
that'll be the only
for
charge I make this turn.
Kellen.
So we'll go fight phase. You're out of range to heroically intervene. So we will not tag these wraiths.
Yeah, yep.
Because it would not matter if that guy moved too far.
The windows are perfect for stabbing through. I think it's more impressive that this lord can spin all the way around and stab his sword through like the tail, like, the exhaust of his command barge in order to attack the scarabs. Although, in fairness, I think this scarab is about to be pulled,
fight,
and the lord will not get to attack.
5 attacks each, so 10 attacks into scarabs. Rerolling 1s.
He may be able to bounce over to this window and attack this guy.
And that is going to be 1. You have a 5-up roll, don't you?
I do, yeah.
2 dead.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, it's just engine burn. Okay, so 4 wounds going through on the scarabs. We're going to see if anybody comes back. Nope. And we're going to lose 2 full bases. Yep, so it looks like we're going to pull the command barge out of range to hit. Looks like we just shelve to the end of the map here.
I think we can still.
Remember,
get
he'd
in.
have to back out of the wall at this point as well, because his fly doesn't fly phase.
Yeah.
Get the beep beep backup sirens going with this guy trying to back up his dump truck through the obstacle. Looks like we're going to be out of range on that guy, so just the 2 scarabs dead from the Sqauwky destroyers.
So he'll just
Not
hang out
engaging
there.
the Canoptic Wraiths because there's no reason to. They can fall back and charge. It just slows them down a little bit since they won't be able to advance, but that's not really a big deal for the amount of damage that they would get into the Sqauwky. Not worth it. Not worth it at all.
Go there. Plasma site is fine.
Yep.
They're fine.
Now, interestingly, this Plasma Site can also
that
be
looks
kept
to be
alive by
everything.
the Sqauwky Lord as well.
So we'll flip it over to you.
So if there's ever a situation where it's important to keep him around, you can keep him alive with the Destroyer characters.
Attacks from the Scarabs.
Here comes Scarab swinging back into the Sqauwky Destroyers. Not a lot of damage expected here.
Wounds.
5 wounds? That's all right.
On the Sqauwky and the Scarabs.
Bad roll. We could see one go down, which would be awkward.
Okay.
You'd probably have to pull the replate at that point.
We take one.
He's fine. Or I guess you could pull a guy from the front. That would be okay too.
All right. Do you have anything else?
I do not believe so. So
That's going to send
Alright,
it back
then
to the
that is my
turn for Sqauwky
I
to
got
score
priority, and it's back over to you.
10 points on primary objectives. No objectives contested on Kellen's part.
I guess we both should have gotten a command point at the start of our turn, shouldn't we?
I spent one anyway, so I didn't change it. I think we forgot to press the start button. So
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, we totally did forget to press start game.
Yeah, that's why no one's gained a command point.
Oops.
I would go 10 now. Should we just go through the button once to remove?
Yeah. And then I'll remove that command
All right,
point.
players trading the turns back and forth so that they have their command points tracked correctly.
Okay.
And we are back to
My
Sqauwky's
best
turn 2, scoring 10 points. Definitely
Something needs to die.
getting
Pretty much
aggroed
every-
pretty hard by this melee-heavy Necron list. What is the play here? I think we send these Canoptic Wraiths right over the top, try to clear out the Immortals on Objective 2. See if we can't grab that objective away from Kellen's Necrons. We want to be able to drop them down to only 5 primary. And if you can keep them on the back foot, scoring only 5 or 10 primary for the entire game, that means that their final round potential 15 points is going to be a lot less impactful.
Oh, Hungry Void. So I get both of those. The Silent King is going to get +1 strength.
Yep.
Sqauwky taking some time to think. His clock is running a little bit here. Clock check, everybody. Sqauwky at 42 minutes. Kellen at 40. Sqauwky a little bit ahead with the clock management, so he's got a little bit of time to think. And just as a reminder for people who don't know how the clock rules that we're using for Speedhammer, if you run out of time, you can perform no additional game actions, including things like resolve mandatory effects, roll dice, roll saving throws and attacks, things like that. So a lot of times, if it's a very close game, you run out of time, a lot of times that will end in your demise. But if you're significantly up on points, clock doesn't matter so much. We are playing with the 1-hour chess clock today, though, so these players have to keep going at a relatively fast pace to keep their turns moving.
That's Psychomancer 3.
Psychomancer with the out of indicator. Maybe just try to give Sarek a taste of his own medicine there. Plant some mortal wounds onto that guy. Yeah, chat, normally we play with 1 hour 30 on the chess clocks. Is the standard timing reg for Tactical Tortoise events. This one is only 1 hour, though. Most factions can complete a game in an hour just fine, and especially if
your Chronomancer gave the Chronometron to the Red Scales
Yeah,
back
the
there.
Red Scarab.
especially if your you and your opponent are okay with sort of talking out the last turn or so it doesn't devolve. But usually the game is most often the game is decided by turn 5 or by turn 4 or so. But some factions have a little bit of trouble, especially if they revolve around a lot of sort of MSU-style ranged attacks or big melees. Those can be time sinks. So orcs get hit, I think, get penalized a little bit more than other factions. But generally speaking, it's a pretty well-rounded time limit. So we're continuing our trek to Objective 2. The question here is whether these Canoptech Wraiths elect to just charge the Plasma Site and take this objective on bodies, because they are a full 5 model unit, or go for the Immortals and try to kill the Immortals off in addition to the Plasma Site. Plasma Site is easy peasy to kill. Toughness 5, but only 1 wound with a 4-up save. We'll go down without a problem to those Canoptech Wraiths. H&X never used clocks, and the jump to 1 hour was intense when I did my first game. Yeah, my opponent for round 1 also was relatively new to clocks, so the 1 hour was, I think, a little bit stressful for him. But once you are acclimated to it, it's pretty easy actually. Just don't get stressed out. You know, you have 15 minutes or so per turn. If you take a 5-minute deployment, which is about average, you can take between 10 and 15 minutes a turn, and then round 5 usually you don't need very much time. 2 or 3 minutes to complete your moves and stuff, unless the game is ridiculously close. Gotta get that Navy SEAL boot camp training, yeah, chat. It makes you so good on standard games, too. Like, you get to, at that point, just playing in pods and rapid fires and stuff, you can request clocks, like, all the time. And it doesn't even feel that bad. You're like, 90 minutes? Woo! I feel like I got the floaties on, and I'm just like, I'm on my
got to swap my power again. Up to you if you.
I'm on my inner tube, just lazily floating down the river. Got all the time in the world, and your opponent's like sweating over on your other side of the table.
I will swap.
Poly Principle, would it be helpful if TTS simply wouldn't allow your models to move more than a certain distance? Like it would snap? Yes and no. The distance would have to be very far. Unfortunately,
Ones are Cosmic Fire and Seismic
Yeah,
Assault.
that's it.
like a lot of times
times arrow for cosmic assault.
there are many effects in Warhammer 40,000 that can increase the distance that you move. And so snapping at the end of, like, if you just say, oh, you can move your maximum of your movement distance, then advances suddenly become weird. And if you make it significantly longer to encompass advances and bonuses to your advance roll and
the one that hits everything.
Everything else, then what's the point of even having the cap?
Okay.
Also, I think it would be difficult to implement. TTS is very much sort of a fan-made collection of mods. All TTS itself does is what it says on the tin, which is that it simulates a tabletop. That's it. And then everything else is fan created. And in order to script in an effect like that, I think would be a lot of work. Some games have it, and some games do it. But 40k would be a tough one. Yeah, one thing that's interesting about this game, I think, chat, is this Skedaddle just mentioning how different the lists are. I think it's very indicative of what's cool about Necrons, which is that they have so many like cool playable styles. I mean, we've seen the Beast Spam list before.
These guys are from the +3 range dynasty.
And we've seen it alongside the Catan, multi-Catan builds as well. which is a very powerful combination. You can create a lot of space on the table with those beasts, pushing your opponent back, forcing them to fight over their home objectives while the Catan sort of dominate the center of the table and blast your army apart with mortal wounds. But innovations like having immortal units in order to veil a darkness around, using these locust destroyers to screen out your backline, using death marks to fight against strategic reserves, really cool. But then on the other side of the table, it's a destroyer-focused melee army? Like, what? A lot of people, I don't think, would ever believe that Necrons would have, like, a powerful melee-centric, you know, a list archetype that's very playable. And they sure frickin' do, and it's really good. And that's what's really cool about Necrons. I don't think any other lists are particularly overpowered or, you know, super top tier or anything, but they are all high mid-tier at the very least, and they have dozens of viable list archetypes, and that's so cool. I would like to see every faction get the Necron treatment and get brought to the level that Necrons are, because it would make the game so interesting.
Okay, then we have 10 powers.
Yep.
So I will start with Tan number 1. He will do Cosmic Fire, so every unit within 9 on a 4-up will take D3 mortals. I'll start with
the Skedaddle, the 2-month subscription. Thanks for supporting, Skedaddle.
Take 1. I'll do the Command Barge. Does. Takes 3. And then the other Sqauwky unit.
Big mortal wounds into the Catacomb Command Barge.
And then he will do Transdimensional Thunderbolt. And he will pick...
I think it's important that we knock out this Command Barge. We got to stop the bleed on those Code of Combat points.
So on a 2-up. Yep, he takes D3 for 2. And then on a 4-up, the Sqauwky's next to him take a mortal. They do.
Oof. Kills a Sqauwky with the Thunderbolt.
And then the other Satan will do...
No reanimation available for him, because that was not killed by an attack. That was a mortal wound.
Sky of Falling Stars, so he'll pick 3 units within 24. So he'll pick the 2 Sqauwky units again, and he'll pick the Tomb Blades.
Okay.
So the Tomb Blades...
Sqauwky unit's not the Catacomb Command Barge, although I think he's harder to hit with the Sky.
Take D3. 3.
You guys with shield vein or without shield veins.
Yep. The big Sqauwky unit. They take D3 for 2.
The guy should have. Nope, he's still down 2.
Okay, and then the smaller Sqauwky unit, they're fine. And then he will do Antimatter Meteor on the Command Barge.
Yep.
Takes minimum 4.
Oh, man!
Is there any way that he could explode onto these guys?
Very
There
much
is, so I'm gonna auto-explode.
Okay.
Yep, get that damage on. Makes sense.
Yeah. How many guys am I? I'm just
So the Antimatter Meteor rolling the 6 to kill the Catacomb Command Barge. We're going to do an auto-explode, which is going to hit a bunch of Kellen's own units, but that is extra mortal wounds that he gets into both of the Catan that he's not going to have to deal with later on in the game.
Unless if you're aware of that, feel free to take your command point back and not auto-explode it. But
That was a really good Catan phase, chat. I don't know if we can expect ever expect much better than that.
On the number of times
you still can't one round them though. Well,
Yeah,
I don't think
we're gonna
you can
just
one round them.
Okay, looks like
Cool.
we're gonna take back the
I guess he
auto-explosion.
could explode normally if you roll a 6.
That would have, I think, killed a plasma site, which would have been awkward.
And then he will spend 1 command point to do a random power.
Yep.
Does 3, which is pick 3 units within 24. So
Oh, a Sky of Falling Stars
Tomb Blade
again? Oh no!
Actually, no, I don't.
So we're 2 Sqauwky, 1 Two-Blade, and a Catacomb Command Barge down
Blades.
with this
Take D3.
Catan
2.
phase. Kills another Tomb Blade. Wow, this is brutal.
And then it's a big Sqauwky unit. They're fine, and then the smaller Sqauwky unit.
At least this unit keeps
take
dodging.
Okay. Not their day
Just plings another one.
Definitely
Not quite dead yet, but that was an insane amount of damage out of this.
Okay, and
These
then
2 Catan. Wow! And the worst part is,
So,
again, like we said, not attacks, so those models do not reanimate. Oh, my
Xeno
gosh.
spotted.
Yeah, give me your opinion on whether he can see. He is within 18 of the bow. I think he can see.
I would agree.
Cool. So we'll pick the Tomb Blades for his active indicator. We do beat it. You take 1 mortal wound.
Okay.
Plinks off another Tomb Blade with the mortal wounds off the Psychomancer.
Okay.
Oh my
So that
god.
is
That was brutal.
10 Psychomancer done, and then we have some shooting.
Jeez.
I'm going to shoot the Immortals at those Tomb Blades.
Okay. -1 to hit.
Yep. $20 shot. Get 10 hit. And they get 5 wins.
Alright, we will take this on Shield Veins.
Yep.
3 ups. Take a damage.
Oh yeah, this Wraith unit is doing Ancient.
Yep, makes sense.
Okay, and then we have the Death Marks, who are going to shoot those Immortals.
Okay.
Now,
Looks
interesting-
like a -1. I guess you're -1 because you moved.
They're
in.
already -1.
Interesting choice here to shoot the Immortals. What could happen is if we see an awkward reanimate roll, we could actually peel some of these models in the back onto the objective. That looks like a good roll, though. 4 go through,
With their cover, 1 will die.
but only 1 dies. Does it reanimate? This reanimation could be weird. Does not come back. Okay. And it looks like we pulled 1 off of the objective, actually, so that's going to make it easier for the Wraiths to get on. But it does make them a very difficult charge target for the Wraiths. Although the Wraiths with Eternal Conquerors will be able to take that objective away.
Okay.
Right, actually, they might not be able to.
So
Yeah, it looks like there are 3 Immortals on, so those are actually 6 objective secured models. So they actually won't be able to take the objective away unless they kill some of the Immortals.
they roll a 2.
To skedaddle, will Ynnari be impacted by the Drukhari Codex? Or will they have to get their own? Or will they have to get their own? I imagine that they will get the updated profiles out of the Drukhari Codex. We might see an FAQ on them, honestly, chat. But since Ynnari can just slot Drukhari units into their detachments and vice versa, I don't see that rule changing. So they'll just continue to have the same interaction, which means they'll just benefit significantly from having the new profiles. Make the second charge off of the Canoptech Race into the Tomb Blades. We do have a pretty good profile at taking out the Tomb Blades. Strength 6, so it wounds on 3s and 2 damage, so it just punches right through and kills the Tomb Blade every time it wounds. They do get the opportunity to reanimate, but the fact that we've done so much damage already means that it's going to be awkward to clean the unit. So it looks like these Wraiths up at the top here charged into the Sqauwky Destroyers, and we popped the CP to make the Destroyers -1 to be wounded. So these Wraiths are going to be wounding on 4s instead of 3s.
Closer model. Still within 1. So the 1 dude will attack the plasma site.
Oh, sorry, and
Actually, I guess we'll pile in.
we are outside of 3, so I don't think I can infuse madness. So go on.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he'll pile in that way. So get in through him. So they should all be able to attack the Sqauwky. So that will be 20 attack.
Yeah.
Fours. And 4s.
4s.
Only 2.
5 ups.
2 down.
2 damage on 1, and that does kill a guy. Does he come back? I actually get to roll for this one.
You could roll. It's not a bad attempt.
It
We
was
tried.
not a bad try.
Tried
If we
hard.
shifted those up 1, it would have worked out. I'm just glad that something in that squad didn't get insta-death. I'm not going to interrupt, so you can just go on to your next squad.
Yep. 8 attack.
So Wraith going into the Tomb Blades now. 3 hits, wounding on 3s, 2 wounds go through. Gonna be tough to save these ones.
Alright, we have a guy out with a 3-up save who's injured, who dies.
Kills the
we'll
wounded
take him on a
model.
6-up save.
Kills 2 of
So we
them.
have 2 guys die.
Do they come back to life?
Do they come back?
Nope.
No.
Ugh. Hoping to get a couple of these reanimation
Yeah,
protocol
those
rolls
are
going,
my
but
attacks,
nope.
so yeah, back to
They
you.
are down.
Alright, we will do +1 attack on these Sqauwky destroyers. And they'll come on in. So the Thresher has...
Gonna swing little attacks into these guys
Definitely out of range of
to
the
try to
Lord.
deal the maximum damage through
We
that
are
4+
+1
invulnerable
strength
save as they
with,
can.
Our protocol.
Yep.
Though we have no characters nearby, so never mind. Freeze. Freeze. 1 wound.
Good.
Fine. And then 5 attacks. 4s.
Oh
Absolutely
gosh! Yikes! Terrible attacks out of the Sqauwky
and I guess the
destroyers,
plasma
bouncing
side with its
entirely off of these Canoptek Wraiths.
Hit. Wounds.
Why am I not surprised?
Why?
Jeez. All right. Well, that's too bad.
The second you started rolling for him, I was like, yeah, he's gonna do a wound.
Of course he's gonna do a wound. He's a plasma
Dude,
site. They're the most powerful
exactly.
melee unit in this codex.
Terrifying.
Biggest sleeper unit. Alright, and then these Tomb Blades are just gonna pile in and put down 3 attacks. Which we get 3 hits. And no wounds. Actually, no, 1 wound, because we're +1 strength on the charge.
Oh.
So -1.
Nova +1 strength charge?
That's my protocol.
Oh, it's your protocol. Cool. I take a wound. I should have put this dude up to 3, so he takes 1 he's to do anyway.
Yep.
Actually, no, he went up to 2, so he is back down to 1.
Yes.
Okay, and then it's your turn. Oh, morale,
go
I
ahead.
guess, for your units.
Oh yeah, so Tomb Blades lost 5 guys. They'll run away on a 6. They're fine.
Ooh, Tomb Blade's almost
No one else
almost
feels like
running.
yet.
Okay, so that's the end of Sqauwky's turn,
So,
and what a turn it was. We
yeah,
saw the
go
command
fast
barge
up here,
getting
so I
taken
can
out.
get my
Half of
two
this
command points.
Sqauwky destroyer unit up at the top
yeah.
here. A couple Sqauwkys out of this unit, and the Tomb Blade unit being gutted.
Cool.
And I think Sqauwky
we are
very
going
much in the lead here.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity for him to score an additional 3
That
points
makes
on
me
his
sad.
Ancient Stir on Objective 4 with
I
this
guess we'll
big
give
Canoptek
Melody
unit
to
sitting in the
Tomb
back
Blades
there,
and the Immortals
just
because
slowly
I have
generating
been
points from
mismeasuring
that.
distances all day today.
Oh, we all do.
And then
Yeah.
even though, despite the fact that the Silent King is so
That
big
is
and
the
so
thing
scary,
that needs to
he
not
himself is
be
not
a thing
OBSEC. So
anymore.
even if he gets a big charge onto
These
Objective
Tomb
4
Blades are just gonna fall back
to
instead.
try to hold it down, he will not be grabbing it. The power of that Eternal Conqueror's subfaction trait is really showing us here. We could potentially farm another
bubbles
3
over here.
victory points off of the Canoptek Wraith unit if he elects to kill them with his many guns. But if he does so, he does not have any targets for his ranged attacks.
Yeah, I don't think
Looks
that's
like we're
gonna fit
measuring
20
out
warriors.
I'd be well impressed if you could fit 20 warriors in there, and if you could, fair play to you.
Measuring out a placement for the Warriors thanks to Veil of Darkness. Might have an opportunity to go into the forest back here, but what we're hoping for is that for that to happen because the Death Marks will be able to intercept them. They do have an 18-inch intercept stratagem that lets them shoot at the unit coming in, which is a little bit awkward. Looks like our prediction went through.
And then over on
People
this side
rooting
of
for
things, that's
Kellen's
9.
Necrons. 52 to
That's definitely
48.
open up for
Pretty
mine.
split down the middle, everybody. But we'll see how this game
Sad
goes.
day to have a
It
Veil.
looks like Sqauwky's
Sad day to have a
game
Veil of
to lose right
yeah,
now.
my army
But we'll see how it goes.
spread out pretty well.
If he keeps
and
rolling
then
like he
over
did in
here-
those Catan, that would be pretty solid. And unfortunately, without Catan on their own side, Necrons are not actually very good at killing them.
Yeah.
They can shoot them and they can melee them.
All right, so let's see.
But the Catan have a pretty good profile at killing the Necrons back with their big punchy fists.
Is going to fall back
if you do engage them in melee.
These destroyers are going to come up this way, and they don't have a chronometron anymore because, yet again, mismeasuring distances like a mad lad.
Distances are hard. You haven't got time to think about that. It's all about the speed.
It's all about speed.
We're also going into bottom of round 2. Almost half the clocks shoot up for both of these players, so they will need to speed things up if they keep going at this pace. That said, round 2 usually the longest round of the game to play out, so things will start to get a little bit quicker from here. And especially if the Catan start nuking off units as quickly as they did.
I know that's a big stretch of distance, so I'm going to rein him back in.
No, that's alright.
Sarek a little bit anchored by his Maniers, I think.
Wait, so you're telling me I could have fit my Sqauwky Lord there if I hadn't moved my plasma site there? That seems about right.
Yes, it does appear to be the case.
Ah, come on.
I can just see him there taunting. It's like you try and do anything about it, I'll make you roll a 1 and I'll
If only that plasma site was a token instead of a real
we're
model.
gonna just advance those warriors.
I feel like you'd have to be a pretty brave person to seat check a Sqauwky Lord.
Yeah, but I mean, plasma site sitting there like, I got a 1 in 6% chance to kill you, bitch. Come at me.
Yeah, well, you say 1 in 6, but we all know that's actually like 5 in
It's a
6.
50-50. It's a 50-50. Yeah, even more.
Yeah, he always kills a model.
It's 50-50. Either it happens or it doesn't.
It makes me so sad.
We can't have him do anything useful. That would be helpful.
So it looks like we are collapsing in Kellen's army, or collapsing, excuse me, collapsing? That's not a word. Collapsing in Kellen's army onto Objective 2 to try to stem the VP bleed up there. There is a non-zero chance if those Wraiths continue to make their invulnerable saves and fight through the Sqauwky, they will just deny that primary objective for too long. Also, probably don't want to stick those Sqauwky into the Catan just yet. The Catan will be able to clean them out pretty quickly if you charge into them.
Oh, and I scored 10.
Yeah, I put your primary on. Don't worry.
Thanks.
God, yeah. I was trying to go for the long bomb block primary, but
yeah, didn't quite pull off.
I needed a couple mortals from the death marks, but it didn't happen. I mean, the rest of my turn from the Satans went pretty well, so I'm fairly happy.
And no one's really going to be able to shoot there, so that's fine.
How are people doing in the chat, by the way, this game? Anybody working on anything cool?
This Chronomancer is actually going to.
Anybody got any games going on?
That's all right.
What's everybody doing?
He has plenty of movement.
Skedaddle painting up Baharath. That's sick, dude. I wish those Phoenix Lords all got the Jane's Art treatment. It would have been cool to get like a box set of all of the Phoenix Lords with new cool models.
Yep.
And new cool profiles that weren't just like a
so
bad
we will
Space
start
Marine lieutenant.
shooting things. So the Chronomancer here is going to fire its. I'm going to need to do that. Please hold on that. This Chronomancer is going to fire its shot at that Catan number 2.
All right. Chronomancer's going to try to vaporize
He
some
hits.
wounds off of the Catan here.
He wounds.
He wounds.
Save is good, though.
Sqauwky Lord will fire at Catan number 1.
Yep.
The awesome, currently painting Ahriman. That model's so cool. The new plastic
3 wounds.
Ahriman.
It's strength,
Strength
6.
6. Oh,
5.
toughness 7, you're right.
Helps that he's so powerful,
Good.
too.
Fine.
So no wounds off of these Catan. That's not the start of the shooting phase that we quite wanted to see.
Yeah, we'll fire into the other Transcendent with the other Chronomancer. Hits. Nice. We'll... Why not? We'll read
TP.
that. Yeah. So it does wound.
Oh, sorry, I had a lag spike there.
One combination I kind of like on those
Seal
Chronomancers
takes
is
the
the
3.
ability
It's
to...
a minimum of 3. You know
Minimum
what?
4,
We'll,
but yes.
yeah, we'll reroll it.
To use the auto wound strat with them, the Martial Precision style strat.
Oh, this depresses
So
me.
when you hit with that Chronomancer shot, which you can potentially confirm with a CP reroll, you can automatically wound, and it is AP3, so it's unlikely that the target makes a save.
Okay.
And it's D3 plus 3 damage when it goes through, so that is not a small chunk of damage.
Those rates.
CP reroll
Does
making
that make sense?
these Catan very difficult to kill, and that might have sunk Kellen's hopes of actually taking any of them out. I think he needed to start the train this turn so that he could take a couple more phases next over the course of the game later to peel them out, but unfortunately not happening.
It does hit. It wounds on a 2. I'm just going to automatically wound because fuck that.
AP5 or something, right?
AP4
I don't
and
think- it
damage
doesn't
6. That's a
doesn't
dead
give light
destroyer.
cover anyway, so it's a dead destroyer.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to Maneir a Destroyer down
Alright, other
with the
one
strat.
into the wraiths.
to grab our code,
Wounds the
code of
wraith.
combat points, excuse me.
I save.
Good. 9 shots
Oh
into
no.
Immortals.
Bet too much on Kellen's Necrons. Well, we'll see. There's a lot of
That's
game
true.
to be played yet. And he is ahead on
Die.
time, although the fight
And then
phase
you got
might
3 more shots
eat
before
that
you
up.
can reanimate.
Yep.
1 more wound. -3.
Big
That's
shot
great.
into the Immortals, kills half of them.
5.
Do they come back?
Back.
2 of them do.
2 come.
Okay.
But that's good sequencing. Some people might elect to shoot into the Canoptech Wraiths, but that leaving them available to charge means that
Shots. Nope.
Sarek is going to get the opportunity to charge, which is a lot of distance that he gets to take up the table to make to try to make up some
Immortals to
table
shoot at Catan number
and get
1.
to objective number 4 to stop that action from happening.
Just 1.
He saves.
Nope. Stick 'em. Alright.
Well, we got 1 Locust
see, makes me
Destroyer and
sad,
3
but-
Immortals this turn.
Maybe we'll have some happy fun time in the charge phase.
Yikes.
This plasma site's gonna beef up those destroyers. The bigger squad.
Where's that 1? It's not a
Nope.
1!
The other squad. Okay. So both squads
Ooh,
are beefed up.
all right. Dodge the plasma site
these
damage.
ones are gonna come crashing in on a 3. We get a 7.
That'll do it.
Charges into
And
the
we'll
race.
just, like, base your front guy there.
See if we can get this open up a trail for the Sqauwky Lord to get in, maybe. It's going to be a little awkward, Kellen. Unfortunately, bemoaning his positioning earlier in the turn. If we string out, we might be able to fit his base around here. Yeah, it looks like that's what we're going to be angling for.
What's the charge distance there? It's a 5. I think we're going to adjust a little bit. Because I want to leave room for that Destroyer Lord. Yes, that's like a 7. The plasma site will charge in to get out of his way.
Go get him,
On an
plasma site. Beep boop.
And then he'll come in and base them.
Yep.
And then the Sqauwky Lord's got like a 7 to get it.
I will say the Plasmacyte model is kind of cute.
And he gets a 12.
I
Easy.
like him. Yaxkars. Not quite. On the Sqauwky Lord.
Plop.
Gets in right to the front of the Canoptek Race. This is a good wrap around on the Canoptek Race as well,
Okay.
so we won't be able to
That's
creatively
that, and
pull
then the Silent
casualties
King
to
is
pull
going to
models
charge
out of
those
melee.
rates.
So they will all get to swing. Are Necrons the real space bugs? Well, they sure bug me, chat.
I'm going to get one bonk with... Actually,
Slow Wolf, thanks
no,
for the
just
follow.
one bonk with the Miniers.
How's Alpha League going?
Yep.
You never know
Things
when
are
they'll come
okay
in
over
handy.
on the big
Okay.
server, the land of the
Fighting
big
phase
server.
then.
Yep.
We will start with these Sqauwky. No, we'll start with the Lord. No, you can interrupt. We're starting with the Destroyers for sure.
A lot of Sisters and Adeptus Mechanicus. Welcome to the metagame,
and
sir.
We'll give them +1 attack.
Yep.
So we've got 3 Threshers. It's 15 attacks. But then with the buff, that's going to be 18 attacks.
Yes.
Re-rolling 1s. Wounding on 3s with +1 strength. Re-rolling 1s. AP unspeakable, so
4 ups.
Boom! Big hit from the
Gonna be one
Sqauwky
more.
Destroyers.
Two,
Not
three,
8 wounds
four
go
dead.
through into the Canoptek
I'll
Race.
let you
Almost
replay.
wipes the unit. Wow.
it's gonna
Okay.
be 5 attacks.
Get stuffed. This is what we needed to stem this bleeding
Come
here.
Thanks for clearing that.
Gonna make that
And then
very
these are gonna
difficult
be-
for these
Those definitely-
remaining ABSEC models in the top half of this table to contest that.
Don't care.
Fix them all.
We had the one opportunity
So that will be 12 dice.
to stop that
Okay.
primary objective from scoring on
Went better
Sqauwky's,
than
and we
expected.
failed, and the invulnerable saves did not spike high enough to keep that unit alive.
I get
Goodbye,
1
Wraiths.
2 we will bring back.
Looks like one guy comes back off of the reanimation.
I think we've
Get
we
within.
got you.
We'll stop that.
Maybe did you? Ah,
Oh, exactly. Gets him out of
Yeah.
range of the Sqauwky Lord.
he's not. That
No!
makes me sad.
Unfortunately.
So I guess he'll just
Yep.
do something like that. The Silent King gets to fight before all that.
Yep.
So we'll do that now.
Silent King swinging, hoping to get that last set
2
of Code
bumps
of
from the
Combat
Miniers
points.
on 6s. No, and then 4 swings from the Scythe. This is going to be strength 9 at the moment.
Oh,
my
no! Whiffs with the big
6
stick.
swings
Alright.
from the
Don't
Stab.
fail to kill 2 Wraiths. sorry.
Not like
wounding on
this.
2 for the strength 10 with the protocol.
Not like this. Oh my
Alright,
god.
they're dead.
Alright, we got him.
And then he
Whew.
will consolidate onto the terrain.
Got him.
Alright, over to you. Your Wraiths can fight.
Yep. So that will
Code
be
of
8
Combat
attack.
really killing it, chat. Yeah.
Where are they going?
They'll go into the 2-man Sqauwky unit.
Alright, I'm going to -1 to wound with them.
3 wounds.
Continuing to use the
3
strat here.
fireworks.
Try to keep those Sqauwky's alive. One of them.
Yeah,
No, one of them
You
goes
do
down.
kill 1.
Does he come back to life?
And I have to leave the Thresher in.
Well, you don't have to, but if you want attacks, then
If I want to
gotta
fight.
be him.
Alright, and then we'll have 5 attacks from the Thresher.
Yep.
Reroll all of those ones.
Alright.
Wounding on.
Good thing those
3s.
rerolls convert well. 4
Alright, that many
wounds.
saves.
Could he kill it? No, not quite. The invulnerable saves are
That
too
kills that.
good.
It's a dude on 1 2 wounds, so 3
Oh,
dice.
it's one Wraith
It's
alive.
not good back.
Why do they
Can't
live?
quite-
Why do they live?
Can't quite wipe
Because
the
they're
unit.
here to annoy you. That's their job. 4+ invulnerable Wraiths.
Apparently.
And I think even more annoying than this model surviving,
Oh, wait,
which
no,
is
no, that was. Yeah, no, that's a
not
one
going to
back
do
unit.
too
No,
much.
I'm
But it is going to give him a
I'm
free
losing my
It's
mind
alright.
here.
It's alright.
free roll into engage all
Alright, and then at
fronts.
the end of everything, we get 3 for domination. We'll get 3 for priority targets.
Yep.
And it'll go over you. Do your Wraiths need? No, they don't need to do morale. They're fine.
No, they don't care.
The Code of Combat is a big glut of victory points right off the top, especially after these Locust Destroyers. Unfortunately, I think Sqauwky needed these guys to be spread in order to block the Veil of Darkness into the back line, but that does just bleed 3 VP a turn off of his army as soon as Sarek turns around and rips one off the table every turn with that Annihilator beam off the main ears. And that is giving Kellen a chip and a chair into this game. He's been pushed out by the Catan and these Canoptic Wraiths. He's having a tough time eating through their really good saves. But he is securely in the lead for victory points. I don't think that there's much of a threat on Objective 2 to lose that objective. Unless we see another big shot on the Immortals from the Death Marks. Although that only killed 1 model last turn, so they'll need to do a little bit more.
I guess I'll roll in advance, though. Oh, what's your protocol?
Oh, it's a Hungry Void again.
Cool. Roll a 6. Gonna make a 3-inch bubble.
Sure. I'll just put up some 1-inch bubbles for everything else. Except the plasma side, apparently, which is the one that mattered.
The Chronomancer will put his buff on the Scarabs again.
Yeah.
So we're sending the Scarabs to Objective 3 to contest that objective. So Kellen won't be scoring the 15-point turn early. The Katana looks like they're just going to go in and try to sandbag the rest of this Necron army, lock it in place as long as they can, and try to pull off the rest of these Sqauwky destroyers, which I think is pretty likely. Interestingly, Deathmark's moving forward instead of moving backward to cover more of the backline from that Veil of Darkness. We might see an advance on these Immortals to screen out some more of that Veil, potentially. Yeah, the Catan, Sqauwky, you might have missed the Catan last turn. They killed an immense amount of Kellen's army, unfortunately for him. Wiped a Command Barge, 3 Tomb Blades and 2 Sqauwky Destroyers off the table, and 1 Catan Power Phase, which was disgusting. And they do certainly have the punching power to punch through the remainder of the Sqauwky units, if they do get in there. Although the -1 to wound can keep them going a little bit.
I'll advance my 1 Locust I've got left. 5.
Okay.
Don't really want him. I guess you need to do that.
Tattered Pages. Fought Necrons today with Guard. How did that game go? Tattered Pages.
Do you know what? He'll go in the back. I'll advance the Immortals. Got nothing else to do. 5.
What were you playing in your Guard list? Tattered? Tied a Guardless last night, Slow Wolf. Oh my god. Ties are pretty exciting when they happen. I'm gonna be real. It's not that often, but when it happens, it's pretty cool. Sqauwky down to 17 minutes now on top of round 3. He's gonna have to pick up the pace a little bit if he wants to complete the rest of the game. But this game looking like a really tactical one. Flayed one's coming in.
Yeah. Well,
maybe just to hamstring Sarek a little bit. Or screen out the remainder of the Veil of Darkness. We really can't allow that Veil of Darkness to come in and muck with the backline. If they end up swarming Objective 5, they could stop that priority targets from scoring. Although, actually, the priority targets is going to be down here, it looks like. Or is that? I don't know. The players that put tokens there, I don't know what they mean, though. Nine Basilisks, Tattered Pages. Why not, man? Just dodge Tyranids, am I right? Or go first against Tyranids, one or the other.
yeah, that's whole big. Great. Yeah, I guess. Terrible. Yes.
Those models are probably the coolest ones I've found.
No, it's
also
not how
the
they
worst
look. They're
hitbox.
just they're just terrible hitboxes. Which makes them basically unusable.
Probably doesn't help that this token is hovering here. What the hell? Oh god. I guess we don't need that thing anymore.
Nah.
So there's some pretty nice flayed
okay.
ones. Are they asset
And we
bundles?
will do some
They're not. They're models.
Citan powers, I guess.
So that collider could be replaced.
Yes. Many Catan powers.
So Citan 1 will do Cosmic Fire.
Okay, here we
Every
go.
unit with a 9, which is both units of Sqauwky, Plasma Sight, Warriors, that Chronomancer. So I'll start with the Warriors.
And the Tomb Blades as well.
Ah, yeah. The Warriors don't. Tomb Blades don't. Chronomancer don't. Big unit of Sqauwky
Wow, okay.
do.
This is not what we saw last turn.
On.
Are
you serious?
The Plasma Sight, no. The small Sqauwky, yes, for 2.
It's funny because that smaller Sqauwky unit has been hit every time, I think.
Okay, and then he will do
Even despite the fact that it's harder to hit.
Transdimensional Thunderbolt, and he'll do that on I guess he'll do it on the bigger Sqauwky unit. 22 up. Yes, they take 3.
Oh my god.
And then both Plasma Sights
Alright.
on a 4-up will take a mortal. First one doesn't, second one doesn't.
Yikes.
The 1 wound Sqauwky does take a mortal.
Oh, no!
And then the Sqauwky Lord doesn't.
Wow.
And then we have the other Citan.
You can stop now if you want.
No,
That was
I'm
one
keep going, I think.
Catan shard. Oh my god.
He will do Sky of Falling Stars on the Warrior unit, the Immortals, and the Tomb Blades. The Warriors, they take 3.
Bonka, bonka, bonka.
The Tomb Blades don't. Yeah, there's 3 left. The Immortals
Thanks, Chad.
take 2. Okay. And then he will do Antimatter Meteor.
I think the closest thing is a plasma site.
Yeah.
4.8. Yeah, the plasma site's closest.
It dies horribly.
Bye bye plasma site.
Utterly
And
annihilated.
then we'll spend a CP for him to do another power. He does
Of
1.
course, it's that one.
Antimatter Meteor.
Oh, no!
So the Warriors
Oh,
take 3 mortals.
no. What?
The
is this
Psychomancer
turn?
will do the leadership thing on the Doom Blades.
Oh my god.
Yep.
That beats the leadership.
Can I
They
audible to
take
Necrons? This seems
3
fun.
mortals.
Oh my god.
I like dealing mortal wounds.
Stop.
Have you had enough
Please.
mortal wounds yet? I don't think you have.
Yes.
Jeez.
You need more
I'll
mortal
play
wounds.
I'll play the Zarek and Dynasty Games Workshop.
Dino
I promise,
spotted.
make it stop.
Stop with the mortals, please. Okay.
You done?
Yeah, with mortals. So shooting. The death marks will shoot those immortals.
Okay. Still -1 to hit, I think.
Alright, every time.
Yeah, I moved.
Well,
anyone.
you moved, so.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Alright, behind cover.
Every time a Catan
Dies, so you
goes.
come back.
Tactical nuke incoming! Tactical nuke in!
Shoot the
Stop.
Doom Blades. 3 shot. 2 hit. No wound. Nope. The guess that is it for shooting. Charges. This Citan will charge those Sqauwky.
Okay.
He rolls a 9.
Okay.
This Citan will charge the Warriors. Sure.
Oh, sorry.
Fine.
I would Overwatch if you were charging the Warriors.
Oh, yep.
Sorry, I'm a little late on that draw.
No, that's
But,
fine.
Overwatch
28
should
shots.
try to
You
get
can put
those
on my
3
time.
random wounds in on the Warriors.
28 stab wounds.
Can we do it?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Nope.
Alright.
He rolled a 5, so he's in. He's just gonna go touch the bare minimum warrior. We are. And this Wraith is gonna have to charge those immortals.
Okay.
He rolls 12.
Of course.
Sure, why not?
Come on in.
Okay, well, we thought Objective 2 is relatively safe. That might not have been
is
the
it for
correct...
charges. So, combat. I will start with this Tan into the destroyers. They haven't got a Chronomancer buff, right? Or have
No,
they?
but we'll -1 to wound with them now.
Yeah. Way too nice. 5 attack. All hit. I'll spend a CP to auto wound with 1.
Can
And
you
then-
do that with a non-dynasty unit?
That's a good question.
I'll pause time. We can check that out.
yeah. Yeah, it just says Necrons model in your army. Oh,
I
actually, I
guess
can't
that-
even do it in combat. No, it's shooting only, so we won't do that.
Yeah,
Okay. I had no idea it was shooting only. That's 4s. And I'll CP reroll one of them instead. So 3 wins.
At minus a lot. Yeah.
AP 4.
No save to that, so just roll your damages and let's hope that you roll some 1s.
Hey!
So that'll kill 1.
That's 3. Oh, right, yeah, I
Are
thought
they
it
wounded?
was. So the last one does 1. There'll be 1 left.
Does he come back?
Okay.
No.
And then we are going to go away from that dude. I'm going to base the plasma sight so it can't come onto the objective.
Okay.
So he shouldn't be able to activate, right? Because he's not within 1 inch, he didn't charge.
He was charged, so he should be able to activate.
Okay.
No, you have to be in engagement range.
Even if you were actively charged?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll take it. This turn will...
Somebody didn't watch my video about rules. Everyone messes up.
And he'll get ready to punch some warriors.
Because I talk about that specifically.
4 hits. 3 wins.
They do have an invulnerable save.
They do.
Slow Wolf, thanks for checking us out, dude. I appreciate it.
So
Yeah,
two
this was a
die.
brutal. This was these
Thus
Catan
they
shards have just
come
like
back.
single-handedly ran the table.
does.
One
Oh
of
my
them comes
god,
back.
the mortal wounds every turn have just been incredible.
And then my Wraith.
If anybody out there plays Necrons, this is not sold on Catan shards yet. Just watch this video.
1 hit.
Just keep watching it until
And 1
until you understand how powerful they are.
Okay. Saving on a 5. Kind of important. I'll re-roll that. We save. I guess it wasn't that important.
No.
Was it a
I was
mistake
gonna
not
say,
to go
I
after the
still
Catan? I don't
consider-
think so. Sqauwky played them very conservatively early. One of the strengths of
Okay.
Catan is that a lot of their powers do not require line of sight, so they
Alright,
don't
I guess I
need
rolled
to
5 primaries this time. That's sad.
push out up the table in order to do their stuff.
you
So he
passed
kept
over
them
target
behind
line
this
CP.
box early on in the game,
Okay.
so that there was very little line of sight to them.
It's back up to full.
And then later on, and then once he moved them up was already rounds 2 to 3. And at that point, it's so difficult to kill them with just shooting or just melee that it's almost not even worth it. You have to like sort of hit them with shooting for the first 2 turns and then have 1 to 2 shooting or melee phases to kill them after that. But if you don't have all of those, it's very difficult.
Hit every time.
1 win.
1 wound. Alright. Now it's over to the turn. Stuff's going in the same places.
Yep.
Chronomancer is going to fly over here. Chronomancer is going to fly over here. These immortals are going to fall back.
Yep.
On that ugly, ugly wraith. Plasma sight will fall back. That is going to be
Kellen, did you score a 5
No.
or a 10 this turn?
5
5.
because he contested this point right here.
Yeah. The Citan consolidate, put 2 models. My Wraith is upset because of my dynasty.
Aren't these doubled though?
No, because he's
No,
not
I don't.
running.
I don't have Object Dynasty. I'm running Novak.
Oh, they're in the Nova. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have double Object, unfortunately.
Rip. No Eternal Conquerors.
Gives me opportunities to do sneaky.
What even is
Yeah.
this game? So potentially we could have seen
Maybe
this
it's
get
been helped a
snatched
lot by
from
the fact that all my Citan do 500,000
from the
wounds a turn.
from Kellen on turn 1. I'm surprised we didn't
We're
see
actually
that
gonna
play
send the
gone
score
for.
back forward this way.
Yep.
Because we're dooming him to die if he stays there.
He'll eat 400 mortal wounds and die. Who hasn't done that this game?
Yeah. Bubbles wise, because I think we are gonna come in today.
Veil of Darkness. Here it comes. We don't have any great spots for it. Looks like most of the backline is screened out. Yeah, there's no
we
space for the whole unit in the back here.
Yeah, we're definitely going to. Alright, so that Chronomancer is going to grab these guys.
Looks like we're going to put them in this
They're gonna go,
ruin
"Whee!"
up top here to try to play for Objective 4. Solid placement of the flayed ones to keep them back as well.
before I did this, I could have moved the Silent King to give myself some more room, but that would have required foresight, and that is something I am very clearly lacking this game.
You'll be alright. You've got plenty of space anyway.
We've got room. We've got room.
You get to do whatever it is you want to do this turn, so.
Yeah. You are really close for some reason.
All they got to do is make an 8-inch charger. Easy.
Yeah, especially with a chronometron.
Yeah, should be easy.
Should. Keyword should. So that Chronomancer is OBSEC, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, chat, we've seen Triple Katana on the stream a couple
Also
times.
outside
You should
of
be
character
within
protection.
3, but that's not a problem.
It's pretty brutal.
I thought it
Although
was
you do
pretty
lose
brutal.
a lot of your objective holding power because they're so expensive, and they force you into like awkward detachment.
Zarek is gonna
Detachment picks, which makes things weird.
We'll leave the Meniers and probably himself space to shoot that thing.
Yep.
Trying to just get line of sight without impeding the charge of the warriors. Yep. Okay. He himself will come over here, get line of sight on those scarabs. His Meniers will be able
One
to see
Outrider,
the
one
Chronomancer,
Vanguard, one
and I'll be happy
Battalion.
with that.
Cool.
It's probably fine. I see a lot of triple patrol. That's the least CP
This
spend,
Chronomancer
and usually
already
you can fit
flew.
the slots you want in triple patrol. Because you get 6 fast attack slots between 3 patrols, which is usually fine.
These Tomb Blades will adjust their course a little bit so that they can potentially shoot that Psychomancer.
Yep.
So that might be a juicier target. I think that is going to be my movement, though we will probably tuck these Immortals in and try to hide from the giant evil creature that is
The
running
giant
around.
rolling
by the
ball
point
of
zone.
mortal wounds. Yeah.
Yeah, that. We don't want to be near that, so we're going to actually advance. Not enough, so Jerry here is probably going to get blasted by something, but
Sorry, Jerry.
we're going to do our
Bad
best
time to
here.
be Jerry, that's for sure.
Yeah, bad time to be Jerry.
Poor Jerry. Look at this guy. He has no idea what's going on. He's just having a grand time. I like that he looks kind of happy, right?
Okay,
He's like, hey guys, I'm just
Let's go to
happy to be
shooting
here.
phase.
I think it's trans-dimensional thunderbolted into oblivion. Sorry, buddy.
let's start with... what do we want to start with? We'll start with Zarek. I know that my 2 Meniers are going to go into that Chronomancer.
Yep.
And then looking at this, I'm going to hold this objective, I'm going to hold that objective. More than likely I get that objective. So I'm going to have that. So on your turn, it's about the same whether I control that or whether you don't. So we'll just fire all of Zarek's stuff into
Alas, poor Jerry.
the scarabs there.
Cool.
Actually, no, before that, before we do all
Poor
of that, this
Jerry.
Chronomancer, before he loses line of sight, is firing at those scarabs.
Yep.
Sorry for going all over the place with my
That's alright.
declarations, but that's a
Win.
dead scarab.
Dead Scarab. Does he come back? Nope.
Oh, so close! I saw those
All right,
5s
then
and
the
6s
Scorpion
in that
will shoot us.
reanimation chat, and I freaked out. Incredible.
For 6. 2s. 2s. Rerolling 1s. 6 wounds.
AP 1 at least, assuming.
Yeah. Yeah, it's AP1.
1 will flip. It's not come
No, he
back.
tried so hard.
Dude's on.
Okay. And then we've got 2 Minears into this Chronomancer and everything else into the Scarabs over there, potentially. Yep.
Yep.
So Chronomancer awkwardly not being screened.
Yep, I said I was going to do it. We're going to do it. Chronomancer. We...
Is the
Hit
Chronomancer
one.
not being looked out for?
Yeah, we measured it, and he's out.
But of the Immortals, though. Oh, he's out of the Immortals? Okay.
Yeah. It's down. It's the immortal hitbox.
Whoops.
So, we'll automatically...
Gotta get
move
some
with
replacements on these hitboxes, I guess. Jeez.
So 1 4 up.
This is the Jerry
Yeah,
of the
fine.
other
that.
side.
He's good.
He looks a little bit more spiteful.
And then we've got
'Cause he's just
9
mean.
shots onto the Scarabs, which will probably just kill the unit. Yeah, that's dead squad.
Interesting that we didn't keep them as a charge for the Sqauwky Lord to at least force.
And then
Something
these two
to
blades
hit
will
him.
fire off into that Chronomancer and
You could potentially get these
Yep.
the Catan to pull
try to
back
do the job.
instead of going for objective 1.
Killing that Psychomancer is also kind of good. But we'll fire at the Chronomancer.
Yep.
8 shots. Ooh,
Good 6s.
yeah.
Oh wow! Is this a Tomb Blade? It's just
wounding
maybe
on 3s.
maybe picking this dude up. No, maybe not.
9
Those
wounds.
ones weren't great. Only a 4-up save though. Oh, you got him.
Takes him out.
I'll reroll 1.
The CP reroll does not save him.
And then I'll use the strat to see if he resurrects at the end of the phase.
Okay.
Resurrection protocols doesn't ever work though.
Okay, and then
What are you doing?
these warriors are not going to shoot anything unless actually that Psychomancer's closest. Which I don't think he is.
He probably
9.5.
is to-
He is to
He
them.
probably is to a couple of them.
Like maybe to the first 5 here
Yeah,
that
that's-
can see him.
Yeah. So to be honest, it looks like it front 3.
Front 3? Okay.
Yep.
Well, we'll fire them, and we are going to do auto wounding 6s because kind of want him to die.
Yep.
6 shots. Was that 7? That was 7. No, that's 5. Where's that other random? Okay, that's 6. We know that's 6.
It's 7.
That was 7. What the heck? Where was the other? Okay,
There was
reroll.
I don't know.
All right, 1 automatic wound. These are wounding on 3s. -2 AP. I don't think he's got an end roll.
I don't does either. Go 4 up. Nope, dice.
Goodbye, Psychomancer. Okay, wow.
I don't know.
Picking up the characters this turn. We gotta get these big charges
Okay,
going though.
And then we'll go to the charge phase.
Yep. This is where things are
big
gonna
one. These warriors are gonna charge your flayed ones.
get hairy.
There
Oh,
11.
big charge on the Warriors going to objective
go.
4. They say, gimme that. We've also removed the models off objective 3. Looking to recontest on objective 2. Could drop Sqauwky down to
then we'll
just
just come in and
5
get as many
victory
bodies onto
points
this
at the
point
start
as
of his next
possible.
turn. Inflict glorious vengeance on him for the 5 VP turn previously. All right.
That's 1, 2, 3.
Kellen
4, 5,
fighting
6,
tooth
7,
and
8.
nail, I guess. Robot, skull,
So
tooth
that'll flip it, and then we have our pilot and
versus
whatnot.
metal fingertip to pull
Oh,
through.
does my Chronomancer get back up? No.
Oh.
Turn is
Damn.
not going as planned.
That is a very feel bad strategy because you feel like you have to use it. And then
Well, I
it'll
have
work
to in that case. It's like, do I get 5
Yeah.
points or not?
Oh no! And that was the only model on objective 5. Big
and then Zarek is
misposition from
also going to
Sqauwky.
charge blade
This
ones.
Immoral is in such the wrong place. Not protecting
gets
that
an
guy
11.
and not on this objective costs Sqauwky 5 victory points. He might get
And he's
nothing
gonna
this
bounce
coming
off of
turn.
their shitty hitboxes.
Oh no! Also bouncing off this oddly positioned
Boom.
objective.
This Sqauwky Destroyer is going to charge the Wraith.
Yep. It's in.
Gets in. That plasma sight did not fall back far enough.
Uh-oh.
He's gonna
Oh.
die.
Yep. Not if I kill my Sqauwky Lord first.
Couple slight
Very true.
couple small
Is that
positioning
worth
mistakes
it?
on both players'
No,
sides here.
But
Sqauwky Lord going in.
I mean, I got no other answer to that. Your strength 6.
Yep.
We'll go in. We'll charge him.
Yeah,
We'll
make
fight
him
him.
wound on 5s.
We'll take him on.
Here you go.
We get a 7. We're coming for you.
But down to just about 9 minutes now, though. 9
We're still
to 8.
scared of your friend, though, so we're going to stay far away from that one.
So these players will have to play the last couple of rounds very quickly.
All right. And then
has been sort
that
of a
Chronomancer is very, very, very
Hyper
boned,
dynamic game,
but
Chad.
that's okay.
We did it. We've done so much stuff on both sides.
So we'll go to the fight phase.
No static
Yeah,
gun
that's
lines
fine,
here.
that's fine.
It's a swirling
Start
melee
of the
this game.
Fight phase. No, we're not going to use the plasma sight.
Why not?
I need to show restraint here. I can't let that happen. All right,
It's
we're just going
understandable.
to. Yeah,
Oh,
we're just gonna try to-
my Satan here is gonna.
yeah, sure. All right, we're just gonna put our 3 attacks in into that wraith, hitting on 3s. You're rolling 1s. Why do you hurt me like this, friend?
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Wait, hang on. So he's +1 strength.
Yeah,
so
it's not.
strength
It's,
6
it's
plus
not,
2.
not strength 10.
Oh my god.
Flubs
Alright, we
the
have to
wound on the
reroll.
Canoptech Wraith to
Oh my
retain the
God.
obsec of this objective. Oh no. This
Oh,
Wraith
dear.
unit has been the bane of Blood's
Why?
existence.
Alright, fine. Sqauwky Lord, 4 attacks into the Catan.
Four
4
wounds.
wounds.
It
One,
takes
that one does 3 damage.
Boom. Got our first 3 damage chunk out of a Catan. We're doing it slowly but surely.
Zarek will attack the flayed ones.
Yep.
Kills 3.
Yep.
Minus 2.
Probably dead, but who knows? Yeah, they're dead.
Silent King clearing out the flayed ones. We are maxed on Code of Combat so far, though. We will score domination this round,
Can Zarek
however.
tag them through the wall?
If he gets within 1, then yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to say, like, can he get within
Oh.
1?
It's a bit tricky because I can't actually measure from your Zarek model. Oh yeah, that would be a good way of doing it. It looks like the answer is no.
Does look like the answer is no, but you cannot be doing your action while there's stuff on that point, right?
They do actually. If you don't kill the unit, they still get to finish their action.
Right, you have to finish the action, but you don't get to start a new one.
No, I don't get to start a new one.
Okay. And these warriors will just come on down. Okay. You can hit me with something.
Let's
Oh,
do
yes.
let's do Titan to he'll ignore your invuln.
All right, we will do -1 to wound in that case.
I don't think he's gonna kill you.
Doesn't wound.
The Wraith will attack the Sqauwky.
Oh yes.
Nothing.
All right.
And
We
then
stay
the
on
other
base.
Titan will attack your Chronomancer.
I guess. Hang on. The Chronomancer will get the punch in first, right?
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
if-
true. Yeah.
So we got 3 Chronotendrils. One of them hits, doesn't wound. Then the staff hits, doesn't wound. That would be funny because that was a flat 3 damage weapon right there.
Yeah. It attacks back. 4
Okay,
wounds.
so looking at the
4 up invuln.
bottom half of the game here,
Roll triple ones.
Very dead.
but about to go up to
Ignores the first one that-
another 6 points on secondaries. This turn to 55. Sqauwky going to score 0 on primary. He'll be able to grab back his priority targets for another 6 and a 3-point engage on all fronts. So up to 57. But then, depending on how his turn goes, it looks unlikely that he's going to be able to clear out everything on Objective 4, although the Tesla weapons on these Immortals might help. Which means Butt's probably looking at least a 10-point turn coming here. There's also very little for Sqauwky to fight over the center objective unless he wants to pull this Transcendent Catan back. Which means we may be looking at Kellen's game at this point. I think losing those primary points might have sunk it for Sqauwky. Especially since Kellen's going to be working with that bottom turn scoring. And assuming he has enough time, may just be able to run enough stuff to separate objectives to grab all of those points. Now, one thing we have to do for these players now, down to just about 5 minutes left apiece, really consider the attacks that you want to make. If an attack isn't crucial, it's not worth making at this point, because even 20 seconds off your clock is an incredible amount of time. Some people in chat, some other people in chat here who didn't watch my video about rules everybody gets wrong. If you engage a unit in melee, it doesn't stop actions. You're only not allowed to declare charges or heroic interventions. If you're engaged otherwise, you can still complete actions. You just typically can't begin actions.
Actually, no, I'll advance the Red Scarab. They'll go to mid-board instead.
You cannot skip melee attacks, chat, but you can skip ranged
for their
attacks.
final purpose in life.
Yep.
So if you don't want to make the melee attacks, just don't charge in.
They'll get those Immortals this turn.
So Sqauwky did score off his...
We'll get him this time.
He scored up his Ancient Stir, so he's going to be up to 60 points this turn, but 10 to 15 points
I can't help but root for Death Marks.
on Kellen's turn.
I really want to make them work. And they have uses, but the one time I get to use the shoot you out of Deep Strike or use it to nick an opponent's objective, great. But
yeah.
Okay. Citan phase.
They get their own phase now. Oh, by the way, that Citan would have healed up to 7 wounds.
7, yeah. Tan 2 will start with a big old antimatter meteor. Take 3.
Ouch.
Ugh.
And then he will follow up with
the meteors continue to pound Kellen's army to dust.
The Immortals, he needs to roll a 1, and then that's going to be it from him. They're fine. Citan 1 is going to do Cosmic Fire. Your Sqauwky Lord doesn't. Your Plasma Sight does, so he dies. And then your Sqauwky do, and he takes 3. So
oh, come on.
Oh, man! The mortal ones on the
Sqauwky Destroyer's got Kamehameha blasted off.
Crazy.
Then he'll do Transdimensional Thunderbolt into the Lord. Goes off, he takes 1. And then let's do another power. Sure, let's be random.
Those Sqauwky Destroyers almost entirely killed by Catan
Transdimensional Thunderbolt.
Wow.
You don't take
fails.
D3. Can you believe it? I failed it. Poor. That shouldn't happen. It's not right. It's not fair.
As much as I hate to charge you for a power that didn't work, did you mark your CP for that?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Shooting this Locust is going to shoot.
Chet, the third secondary is the Necron specific one, Ancient's Stir.
One at a time. 1 hit.
Or Ancient Machines?
-3. They're all shield bane, 6 up.
I think Ancient Stir might actually be the subfaction trait I'm thinking of. It is called.
Come back.
Ancient Machineries, excuse me. Ancient Machineries.
Immortals will all shoot the warriors.
Okay. Oh, turn 4, by the way. We are in Undying Legion's protocol now.
So that will be.
So we're re-rolling a die when we reanimate.
Yeah. So that is 8 wounds on the warriors.
Okay, I have like 4 behind cover. Is it on my clock now?
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Ah, those
we lose 3 of
AP0
them.
Tesla
Yep.
bouncing right off of the warriors. Only
Do
3
they
go
come
down.
back?
Do they come back? Rolling the 1.
Re-rolling because
One
of
gets
protocol.
back.
We get 2 back.
2 back.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Brutal. Only
Okay,
one warrior
and
getting
that is
killed
my
from that
shooting gun.
that
So
shot.
charges, pass back to me. Race will charge the immortals.
Love this quick turn out of Sqauwky. Not taking attacks he doesn't need to.
Yes.
I'm assuming they're charging the warriors, not your own guys, right?
No, I meant
Oh,
the
those
one
are
race
those
is
are-
charging the immortals. Both
Different
race will
protocol.
charge your guys.
Now, these are a lot of attacks he's
they're
going to have to
in.
roll out.
Put the them in, and then the immortals will charge them. They're in.
Just under 2
The
minutes
other
for
Titan will charge the
Sqauwky. Dudes.
Six.
Reading your comments, dudes. I apologize. Oh, this is a lot of attacks for rolling.
Fight. I will do my race.
Let's make it happen.
5 in.
Looks
20
like
attack.
it.
Dudes, that is your
So I got
That is
5
your
in heavy
power.
cover.
Oh.
So it doesn't
8
matter
wounds.
because I just remember we have an invuln save.
Oh,
Which
big
is
save
a
on the
lot of apparently.
Warriors.
Nail it.
5 save. The other
both
2
come
come back for
Okay,
reanimations.
and then
Are
what
you
we'll do-
kidding
And I'm
me?
just going to reanimate guys onto the objective itself.
Oh
Yep.
my god. That's the dice that we needed to see. They take the power of the Catan and they use it to fuel themselves up. They're like, check this out though. Instead of dealing mortal wounds, let's do the opposite of mortal wounds and regenerate models back to my army.
7.
Okay, we've got
All we have to
4
do is
guys
get
behind
these
cover.
double obsec immortals on here
Yep.
though.
3 ups. We lose 2. We'll just take out those 2.
Yep.
Rerolling protocol.
Oh
They
my
both come
god, 100% on the reanimations on this warrior unit. Undying
my
Legion's
lone
coming
race
in clutch this turn. No way.
Gets 2 hits. Gets 2 wounds.
Do we clear this Immortal
5
Squad off
saves.
2? This is a big
Saves
deal.
1. Bonk.
One
And then does he come
dies.
back?
We have a 5 up with a reroll. He
Yes.
does. Wow.
Ah,
Oh my god. All right.
The Satan that charged.
We have
will
a
hunt
minute
you.
left to roll these. The
2
Catan
CP,
swings
3
out.
Guns,
okay.
only hits. 2 wounds.
Just going straight through. I've got 2 wounds. I'm dead.
Okay, cool.
Kills him with the Catan. Consolidate the second one onto the objective to take it, and that looks like it's going to be Sqauwky's
And then
turn.
that is all my attack.
24 seconds
Okay,
left
my
on his
fight
clock. Oh my god.
Well, I guess we do have to fight. So we will come in.
Coming right
Yeah.
down to the wire here, chat. This has been a
Get this
great
die out of
game,
the way. Don't need it anymore.
but it is looking like
Who's controlling this objective right now, by the way?
You.
Is it you?
Oh, what
I am.
objective one? This one here. Yes, you've got that.
Okay.
I haven't got anywhere near enough models on it. I don't think. I've
Yeah,
got
there's only-
6.
Well, these guys count as double.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
but you
do.
only
So they
got
count
money
as
of all.
6,
Yeah.
and then there's I've only got 8 technically, and you've got like 10.
All right, we'll go 1, 2, 3.
so.
4,
Kellen probably looking
5,
at what he has
6
to roll out this
attacks
coming
into
turn
immortals
to
and
preserve
one
his
attack
time.
into wraiths.
All he
One
has to
attack
do
into
is fall
wraith
back with that warrior
on a
unit
3, misses.
to lock in that objective.
attacks
He,
into immortals.
Sqauwky doesn't really have the
and then
the
moving
time
aside,
left
rerolling.
to re-engage this warrior unit,
One wound
so he
minus
can just
one.
pull them back and hang out.
Okay.
He's going to be holding 2 objectives
attacks from
to
the north
Sqauwky's
back
3, so
there.
he's going to get 10 points this turn, up to 67 with a 7-point lead.
Times.
Even if he passes the clock back and forth,
Don't worry.
as long as he
So, that is so
Yep, that's everything.
he clears 1 additional objective. Actually, even if he doesn't, Sqauwky will score a 15-point turn up to 75, plus his priority
so I
targets.
am. So for scoring,
So
wise,
I
you-
control 2.
Although he's just going to vaporize the...
I get
so
3
you'll
for
get
that.
priority. And then I come in here holding 2.
You
Yep,
can
so
pause
get
for
10.
their scoring here.
Zarek is not in combat. He's going to just move over here.
So all we have to shoot this Locust down. That's going to score Sqauwky 10 points on the final turn. He doesn't have enough to grab his priority targets unless he can roll a big advance with his last remaining time.
I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible.
That will give him that will give Kellen domination for another round. I don't think Sqauwky has the time to resolve his final round. He'll just score his points, and then Kellen should win with another 15-point turn. He just has to convert his attack onto the Locust Destroyer on Objective 5, and that should clinch it for him. Moving to Objective 3 with the Tomb Blade. Interesting.
This
Okay.
objective's pretty much lost, so we'll just...
That means if he shoots the
Sustain.
Locust Destroyer down,
Oh, it doesn't,
he isn't controlling that objective for domination.
These guys will tucker in more. And we'll go shooting phase.
Yep.
Zarek is going to fire everything into those scarabs.
If you're asking a question, you put it on your own time, chat.
Hit. 2 dead scarabs.
Dead Scarab.
Hit. 1 more and a half.
Essentially,
dead
anytime
scarabs.
you are doing something, it should be on your time. So you'll see a
And
lot of
8
times
more
players will be
wounds on
flipping the
scarabs.
clock back and forth for saves and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's not really that much. Oh, wow, we just
Chronomancer
sunk
will
that
shoot
unit right
at
off.
Immortals.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll fire at the Wraiths.
There you go.
He hits a Wraith. I'm running out of time. Wounds a Wraith.
Goes through.
Okay, that'll kill a Wraith.
Yeah, I need to roll. I can't check this. I do need to roll it. I get him back.
Hey,
Want to
look at
see
that.
Wow, okay. Wraith
Okay,
returns.
we'll just go straight into the charge phase then, and Zarek is going to charge Immortals.
Charging the
Fast.
Immortals.
That's my only charge.
This is going to be a lot of time.
And then
sunk.
he's just going to start putting attacks into them.
Do we need to make this charge? Maybe a little time crunched. Making a couple small mistakes here.
AP.
Minus a
I
lot.
think we needed to locust down that unit.
How
maybe.
much is minus a lot?
Or
Oh god. It is minus.
Let's put. Yeah, Trevi's got our backs on the clock.
You can
checking rules.
see the panic setting in.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, we're
that
going to
is
pause
minus
it for
3.
looking up a rule here.
Okay, so 6 ups. So I fail all of them. Do I get any of them back?
Don't
No.
not yet because I am.
Oh right,
doing
yeah.
things,
So
so
3
I got more
die.
attacks
I'm not
coming.
gonna roll any more for them.
Okay. And then these are on 3s, minus 4 here, so no
Okay,
save.
so 2 more. So the 2. Is that all your attacks?
I got 1 more set of 3.
Okay, so I still fail my 2 reanimates. So if you wipe the unit, then I won't get it on the last.
3 more at minus 2.
Okay,
And I'm out of time.
they're dead.
Okay.
Okay.
So because I'm out of time, I don't think I can consolidate onto the point with him.
Okay.
So I'm done. I will
Okay.
score domination. I will score 3 on priority target.
Yep.
And over in your turn, I guess you're probably going to score primaries and your end game secondaries, and that's going to be your turn.
Yeah, pretty much. I think the only thing I can do really is I'm
we're
pretty
doing-
happy. I think we can just call it now. I don't think I can
Yeah,
actually
that's
score
fine.
at all enough points this turn because I'll get another 3 for that.
Yeah. And if you were
Okay.
going to try, I'm just going to switch out for Eternal Guardian.
Yeah, exactly. You've got. I mean, I literally have to stop you scoring any primary this turn, which I cannot do with the 10 seconds I got left.
yeah.
Maybe if I had a bit longer,
Right down to the wire there, chat.
I'd have to get lucky with killing this dude.
But it looks like Kellen is going to clinch it with that end game
That
scoring.
was-
Wow, what
I
a
mean, we
nail
needed
biter
all
of
the
an
time.
end there. Holy
Like,
crap.
stressed out with time. Like, wait, what do you mean I only have 8 minutes left? I got so much
Yeah.
stuff I want to do.
I think I underestimated how quick it is to resolve Citan powers. I'm like, I can't take that long. I just do mortal wounds. But of course, doesn't really benefit me because it requires no time on your end. It's like, oh yeah, I just remove models.
If anybody has any questions for the players, go ahead and throw them in the chat here
Yeah,
as we do the post-game breakdown.
I also have 0 answers.
Let's see
to 20
who
warriors, other than try and annoy them
who
in
wins
combat.
the channel points.
When I was looking at your
with
list
Butts,
before the game,
Butts
I was
Necrons winning.
doesn't really have a whole
Complete
lot
the
to,
prediction.
Like, stop the Silent King
Ta-da!
from running up the board or
I
Warriors.
can't
from
kill the
failing
Silent
its
King and I
hit.
can't kill the Warriors. I could make the game much closer as long as I'm not doing silly things like Chronomancer and Psychomancer.
Fated Sea.
So it just
5,000
gets me a few
channel
more
points. Look at you
here
go.
and there, and...
Awesome.
Yeah, shutting down
Easy
secondaries for the entire
points.
turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in the end, it didn't exactly make a
No,
terrible
but
difference, but
5 points
would've
there
had
means
a
it's
better
easier to
score.
block your last turn scoring with a couple of bits. But
also I think in the same turn killing your Psychomancer, so you no longer had a veil.
no longer had a
kind of
veil.
do
I was
like
like,
any
oh, I
Hail Mary
can't even
charges
come
with
over
it.
here now and nick that off you. Yeah, I misplaced him as well when I moved him back this way. I meant to leave him within 12 of Zarek so I could give him the half charge.
Oh,
like,
you had the nanomines?
No, one of the Psychomancer's abilities is he can, if he rolls above your leadership on 3d6, which isn't
Oh,
guaranteed,
right, because it's one of
you'll
those,
half charge,
those
which I meant to do, and then I sort of realised it with my flayed ones. It's like, well now, because you can get into combat with the Wraiths, and it's like, well, damned if I do, damned if I don't. It's like, I put the flayed ones there, they get charged. I don't put them there, the Wraiths get charged. Something gets charged.
You did hold off that veil for as long as you could, I think.
Yeah, I was going to do it the next turn, and then you killed him. It's like, oh well. The Chronomancer.
And I'm also
with
referring to like you screening out my veil as well.
Yeah, well, I can do
had
that.
to wait for a super long time.
I can do that for a couple turns. My list ends up all over the board. It's like even
Yeah,
on
it
a
does.
not particularly great game for me, I get 75 points. Like it just gets all over the board and scores a million
Yeah.
points.
Wraiths are really good when they have OPSEC.
So good, man. Because the thing is, they are bizarrely hard to kill. It's like you sent a unit of Sqauwky in with like 5 attacks each, did kill the squad.
Yeah.
It's they're
they
so
just-
good.
Their offense is a little hit and miss. Quite
Yeah,
literally.
mine didn't roll too well on the hits, but again, killing these immortals should have been much easier than it ever was. I don't know
your
why I
death
had
mark-
such issues killing them, but
The Death Marks didn't roll
Yeah.
a single fix to wound all game.
no, they didn't. Which is
And
funny
just
because the
overall-
last 2 games I've had, they've been great. They've nailed the 6s to wound and have really been a pain in the ass for a lot of people. Yeah, I sort of just have them as well because if people do stupid things, you can nick objectives, and it's also funny against sisters. It's like, oh cool, your Repenter have come on from outflank. Pick up 6 of them. Oh, you have 3. You can kill like 3 Wraiths.
Yeah.
I like them, and I also sort of wanted a bigger unit that can still use reanimation. They're T5.
As opposed to a Hexmark Destroyer, I'm assuming you mean.
Yeah, I don't. And they're nice for scramblers if I ever pick it. Sure, it's a big unit to be doing scramblers, but hey, sometimes you've got no other choice.
Yeah, and I mean, you've also got your 5-man flayed ones, so like they can grab the
Yeah.
middle, and then the flayed
Yeah,
ones can come to the
this
back.
list has a huge number of scoring options, points.
Yeah.
I don't lack for secondaries, that's for sure.
I think.
Yeah,
just
it's hard
list versus
to beat
list,
you
my list just
with
had a good-
warriors and Zarek. I
think-
sort of saw your list. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get punished for not having a warrior answer now. Unfortunately, you didn't play them aggressively. I was really hoping you would, because then I can just clog them up and annoy them. You just kept them at the back. It's like, well, there's not a lot I can do to interact with them there.
You did do 6 mortal wounds in 1 movement phase to the unit, so just do
I
that
did.
every turn.
Yeah, true. That was the other. Yeah, but for me I can kill the squad in 1 turn, but for that to happen, I have to hit them with literally everything in my army. And with the situation that was going on with his priority objective, just not worth it. Yeah, it's hard. I think maybe if I can keep you off my objective a bit better, you know, if I do my ordering right with the Chronomancer and the Psychomancer, maybe I can keep this objective and I should get a much higher score out of it, but it's hard, man. Citans though are great. I was a long time. I was on the. Why do people take Citans? They just do like a few mortal wounds a turn, but man, the more and more I use them, they're so good. It's like
Yeah,
they
their
just eat
combat
things.
is their combat's
Meh.
not fantastic for the
My
transcendence at the very least, but
yeah,
the
my
mortal wounds are
current
very
list,
good.
my list I've got submitted for the WTC has one Nightbringer instead of one of the Transcendence. But he only gets 1 power, and man, I love throwing out 5 mortal wound dealing powers in a turn. Because I'm not running 3 Citans, I have the CP to do it as well. That's why I'm sort of putting off the 3 Citan. It's like it doesn't quite have enough command points to fuel.
I did
Well, it
like that you
does,
ran
but-
them together, because when I've run double Citan, I've always ran them on opposite sides of the table from each other. And,
Yeah,
they can be kind of singled out and killed on their own, but when they're
Yeah.
together, it's
Oh
nasty.
yeah, it depends on the situation and what I'm playing against. Like against armies that can legitimately one round them, they have to be on opposite ends of the board because I cannot risk losing both of them in one turn. But the number of armies that can reasonably one round them, like sure, there's loads of armies that can go, oh, I'm going to cast Smite and do 3. It's like, yeah, but if I know you've got Smite, they're not at front. There's going to be a unit of Scarabs in front of them.
I mean, they're terrifying. I mean, the only thing
They're
I
so
could really
good.
do against them was ignore them, which
Yeah, you've got to.
meant they
It's
could
like,
just kind of run free and kill a bunch of stuff.
well, once it gets to turn 3, it's like, well, what's the point in killing them? Like, you can start trying now, but you won't have killed them by the end of the game. It's too late. You have to start doing it from turn 1.
And speaking of mortal wound death, I think 2 out of 10 Sqauwky destroyers were able to make a save before they died.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I'm glad they did something because they were MVPs, I think, of this game. They've been MVPs so far. I'm coming to really love Citans. I can't believe I spent so
Yeah.
long going, why do people take Citans? I don't get it.
My most recent list that I threw together, I think, has a Void Dragon in it, because I'm starting to see a lot more Iron Hand Dreadnought lists, and I kind of want to just say no.
Oh, you take D6 mortals and your half bracket?
No,
Oh.
against vehicles, it's D3 plus 3.
Oh, it's D3 plus 3. Yeah, okay, in that case, screw you.
Casual
Yeah.
D3 plus 3.
On top of the D6 mortal wounds from the power.
Yeah.
So, just all day.
Well, thanks,
Oh,
guys.
what is that? Your Redemptor Dreadnought has to be a regular guy now? Yeah, well, thanks.
Yeah, that game was awesome to both of you. Super good game. Sounded like it was a it was a little bit more of a mechanically interactive game than you were hoping for. So I think the planning took a little time.
Yeah,
Which
my
made
list
things tight
takes
at the
longer
end.
to play than I thought it did.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I have no shooting, therefore I must be quick.
Yeah.
No, I have a lot of movement. I have pre-game moves, which take more time.
Mm-hmm.
My list relies entirely on charges and then required combat rolls that I don't care about in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And Citan mortal wounds take a long time to resolve. But, I mean, a lot of it, I am losing time to the fact that I just cannot remember Citan powers off the top of my head yet.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, which ones have I got? I've got 6 cards in front of me. What is it I've got again? Oh, I've got these 2. I gave up on the cards halfway through the game. I just removed the 2 cards I didn't have and went, right, I've got these 4 powers. That's
Yeah.
what I'm using.
Fair enough. We had some questions from chat. If you've got a little bit of time,
Of course.
Sure.
let's see. Skedaddle asks, would like to hear more about both of your thoughts on melee-focused Necrons versus ranged-focused Necrons, and the strengths of each list archetype generally.
It's a melee edition. Need I say more? Charges are
Yeah.
so important to winning the mission in Night. And Novok warriors are no slouch in shooting either. It's very easy to build a Necron list that can shoot and has moderate punch in close combat.
In my go ahead.
No, I'm done.
In my personal opinion, a 20-man blob of toughness 4, 5 up invulnerable save, 5 up reanimation, rerolling 1s to reanimate, blob of anything that's also obsec that has +1 to charge is a must take.
Mm-hmm.
For the same reason that Sqauwky said, it's a melee edition, and just having 20 obsec bodies that can just, say, oh, I'm going to have an 8-inch rerollable charge to get onto your home objective turn 1.
Yep.
It's like that can shut down a opponent if they're not prepared for it. That can shut someone down in the early turns of the game.
Yeah, it's something you've really got to watch out for. Veil of Darkness warriors are absolutely horrifying, especially when they're Novok. And the thing is, picking Novok as a dynasty just gives you like a unit of 5 Flayed Ones can go off and nick an objective. 5 random chumps you've got sat on it, because they've got a reliable charge with a command point reroll. And I find shooty focused Necrons, a lot of shooty Necron units are probably the most inconsistent units in the game. They either one round like, you know, a Redemptor Dreadnought, or they do no wounds. There seems to be no middle ground with Necron shooting, apart from the Silent King's Menhirs, which are very reliable.
And to that point, the melee focused dynasties like Mefrit and arguably Zerakan don't really benefit long range shooters all that much. Like a Doomsday Arc already has 1,000,000 inches of range and 1,000,000,000 AP, so that's not really going anywhere with that. So it's not like you're taking Novak and you're all of a sudden shutting yourself out to the possibility of having some sort of long range shooting. So in my opinion, just the melee dynasty is so nice because you can take all this specialized melee stuff that you need to buff up, and then you got all these options for longer range shooting that don't really synergize with other dynasties anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they still do plenty of damage in combat. I mean, while it wasn't on display here, those Sqauwky, when they're up to, what, 6 attacks on the Threshers?
They can get up to 5 attacks with the Plasma Sight. 6, yeah, 6.
When they're up to 6 attacks at strength 5, AP 4, or AP 5, flat 2 damage.
Strength 6.
There is strength 6 if you're right. Yep, the right protocol. It's like there is very little in the game that can survive that. Wraiths are one of the few units that can, as we've seen. But I mean, you think about it. You run that into most things, it's going to die horribly. I don't know what the math is, but I'm pretty sure even Dark Angel Terminators don't want that to run into them.
Sqauwky are marine blenders. That's really all you have to know about them.
Yeah, it's the volume of attacks that are all like sort of decently, they're kind of mid-level, but high volume is where it's at right now, right? To get through 4+ invulnerable saves. And if you can do that, then...
and permanent transhuman.
Yeah. Poly Principal asked, and it sounds like Sqauwky, you answered this a little bit, but why no named Catan in your list? Why the transcendence over the
I really like the Nightbringer, because in this game he'd have been great. It's like Zarek has got to be so much more careful when he's running around. In fact, literally seeing his list made me go, "Oh, I wish I bought the other list."
Mm-hmm.
But he is 370 points, which is a lot. He's no harder to kill than any other Citan. He only gets 1 power return, so it really depends on how you want to use them. I'm quite happy for mine to chill at 24 inches and throw out 10 mortal wounds a turn. That's perfectly fine by me. The Nightbringer has to be more aggressive, and that tends to mean he gets killed more often. Not saying that he's bad. My other list, which is sort of a side grade, I'm sort of trying both to see which one I like more, runs the Nightbringer. But it's the extra power, really.
One thing to correct there, Sqauwky, the Nightbringer still does get 2 powers to cast.
Does he get to cast 2? Okay, in that case,
Catan get to cast 2.
Ignore most of what I just said. I'm going back to running the Nightbringer. I don't know why I bothered with that excursion.
Mistakes made.
Yeah, next time, Sqauwky, read your book. That would help. Yeah, run the Nightbringer, really. Unless you're really, really tight for 100 points, which I'm not. I'll just cut some death marks. They'll go back down to a 5-man.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say, in argument of a double Transcendent list, is armies like Sisters are running rampant right now because, you know, they're super freaking good.
Yep.
And a lot of those good armies can one-turn a Catan.
Yeah, they can.
So it's the Nightbringer is very much a all of your eggs in one basket kind of thing. Like if you can play him well and you protect him right, you know, he'll live and he should be okay and he'll punch and beat some stuff up. But
Yeah.
two Catan, while their power may be, dampened compared to one Nightbringer, is a lot harder to kite and a lot harder to just
Yeah.
one turn and shut down all of what you paid
Yeah.
for.
Mhm.
I mean, the one game I did play with the Nightbringer into Harlequin, he was kited for a lot of the game, but the threat of him being there, he's you have to respect him far more than you respect a Transcendent. There's no Zarek pushing up to the side of the board in this game as happily as he did with the Nightbringer sat there going, please come this way. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
I'm
or-
wrong, but
I think you're right, and it's also like, there's no way I just say, screw it, I'm charging in my Sqauwky Lord if there's a Nightbringer sitting there.
exactly. There's definitely arguments for both. As I say, there's also some weird arguments for the Deceiver, because redeploying D3 units is very powerful if they can go straight in strategic reserve.
But if you can
But-
pay for a Deceiver, I'd pay for a Void Dragon.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't ignore all that. But yeah,
Makes sense.
Did we answer the question?
Faded Sea was asking each of you what were your MVPs for each army.
Dude, you want to go first?
is mine not obvious enough? Do I need to say Satans? Did they not do enough this game?
I think that's probably fair, for sure.
I think I have two MVPs and one LVP. My two MVPs were definitely Zarek for just getting me 12 points for doing what he does. And just killing things and getting me 12 points on Code of Combat. And then the Warriors, because I think them charging onto this objective and being able to just hold it down so easily put the nail in the coffin of this game.
Yeah.
And kind of just not only scored me a bunch of points, but stopped him from scoring
Yeah.
a lot of his
I was
secondaries.
crossing my fingers when you went for the charge. It's like, I really need him to fail this.
Yeah.
There's a chance I can win this game if he fails that charge. He didn't fail that charge. It's like, okay, that's game.
My
Nice.
LVP, unfortunately, would be the Sqauwky Destroyers, just because we didn't really get to see them do anything.
No, they just all died to two Satans.
I mean, I think I killed like half of them myself with my plasma sights.
Yeah, well, that makes Plasma Sight LVP, surely. 15-point
Yeah.
model killed 35 points of your own army.
Yes.
That's not good value.
Really means it's just a 50-point model, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
50 points for a plasma sight, easy.
Yeah, why not?
yeah,
that
it's
makes-
much better value then. Of
Yeah.
course.
I mean, in fairness, though, like the Sqauwkys don't have they don't have a really good target in this matchup, right? Because like they're mostly going to be bouncing up against the Canoptek rates, and as we talked about, the Canoptek rates have a pretty good defensive stat line to fade those guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nigh on indestructible against most units.
Yeah.
Tends to be how I look at them.
We got to watch them like cleave through some Scarab Swarm, so that was cool. But
Yeah, they kill those, no problem
Yeah.
at all.
but this is definitely their worst, one of their least exciting matchups because they don't have anything to sink their teeth into.
Well, even then, if I recall correctly, they only killed 2 Scarabs.
They did.
They bounced
Yeah,
off
because
your
you only you had to go round, didn't you, over here, and then they had a
Yeah.
longer charge, and then the plasma sight killed one of them because you didn't want to kill the reap blade. You
Yeah.
left the dude at the back, and then that made it really awkward to get more than 2 in combat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's all the questions from the chat. So, yeah, thanks for the game. That was a sweet one to watch.
Yeah, thanks for hosting us.
Yep.
Cheers. I'll let you go. Have a good one.
Yep. Best
too.
of luck with the rest of the event for yourself.
You too. Good luck in your next matches.
Bye, guys.
Hopefully.
All
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, chat. That will be it for me today. That was super excited we got to watch that game. That ended up being a really sweet one. I knew Kellen and Sqauwky both always put up really good games, and I knew that despite this being a mirror match, which I often try to avoid, it's a really interesting mirror match between two sort of different varieties of the same faction, which I think is really cool to see. And as we talked about, Necrons have a bunch of different archetypes that they can play, all of which play very differently, and it's really fun to see that made manifest on the table. Trek PPB asked, when will this game end up on YouTube? So the games on the channel are locked to subscribers right now. So if you have a subscription, you can drop it in there and you'll be able to watch the VOD immediately. Otherwise, once it cycles off Twitch, it will be up on the Tactical Tortoise TV YouTube channel. So not the main Tactical Tortoise channel, but if you go to the channel page and at the bottom, there's a link to the TV channel, which is has all the stream VODs. And we're building playlists for 9th edition games of each of the factions, so you can see competitive games of each one and get a good idea of how stuff is going. So if you haven't signed up to Tactical Tortoise TV yet, drop a subscription over there, or drop a subscription here, and then you can just watch the game immediately.